Kundalini, Healing, Awakening, Yoga, and Meditation Secrets, written by Stephanie White. Narrated by Kip Ferguson. Introduction. The word Kundalini is derived from Sanskrit, kund, which intends to burn, and kunda, which intends to curl or to be winding. It is frequently depicted as the primordial dormant energy present in 3.5 coils at the base of the spine in a triangular bone called the sacrum. Kundalini is generally exhibited as sexual energy that is with us from birth in either a showed or unshowed shape. It is said that as one advances through life, Kundalini turns out to be progressively blocked and redirected from its typical way through molding and behavioral examples that one retains intentionally and unknowingly. Kundalini alludes to a type of crude energy, or Shakti, said to be situated at the base of the spine. Author Joseph Campbell depicts the idea of Kundalini as the figure of a coiled female serpent, a serpent goddess, not of gross but rather subtle substance, which is to be thought of as living in a lethargic, sleeping state in an unobtrusive focus. The first of the 7 close to the base of the spine, the point of the yoga at that point being to awaken the serpent, lift her head, and bring her up an unpretentious nerve or channel of the spine to the purported 1,000-petal lotus, Sahasrara, at the crown of the head. She, ascending from the most reduced to the most elevated lotus focus, will go through and wake the 5 between, and with each waking, the brain, science, and identity of the specialist will be out, and out on a very basic level changed. Shakti, Sanskrit control, in Hinduism, the energy of a goddess. Each male god is said to have his Shakti, the encapsulation of his own potencies, communicated through his partner, and each person has a Shakti, in spite of the fact that ladies have more than men. The name Shakti is used for the preeminent goddess herself, said to have been made by the converging of the considerable number of forces, Shaktis, transmitted by the male divine beings who required her to slaughter the buffalo demon Mahisha. As the god of Tantric Hinduism, Shakti is worshipped at shrines, said to have emerged from the parts of her dismantled cadaver. The chakras are thought about as central focuses, where mystic powers and real capacities converge with and interface with each other. Among the gathered 88,000 chakras in the human body, 6 noteworthy ones found generally along the spinal string and another found simply over the crown of the skull are of central significance. Every one of these 7 noteworthy chakras, in Buddhism 4, is related with a particular shading, shape, sense organ, characteristic component, divinity, and mantra, monosyllabic petition equation. The most imperative of these are the least chakra, Muladhara, situated at the base of the spine, and the most noteworthy, Sahasrara, at the highest point of the head. The Muladhara circles a secretive heavenly power, Kundalini, that the individual endeavors, by yogic methods, to raise from chakra to chakra until the point that it comes to the Sahasrara, and self-brightening comes about. This will be clarified better in this book. A plenty of books have been written on this topic. Additionally, numerous researchers have completed a considerable measure of research papers, diaries, and web articles as respects Kundalini and the goddess. I am not establishing disputable framework on this, but rather to approach the issue from nature's point of view, keeping in mind the end goal to help us to recognize those numerous realities and falsehoods which can be found in the web, and to take after our intrinsic and reason. We require an improvement. Some broad perspectives on Kundalini and Tantra Yoga. Kundalini exists in each individual as an essential power. Its activity varies. If it becomes active, then, according to Tantra Yoga, it awakens, depending on the chakra through which it is activated, distinctive capabilities. Here, it is prudent to acquire capacities which give us more profound experiences into the idea of the person. This is the goal of the greater part of the different Tantra Yoga rehearses in every one of its varieties, like Kundalini Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and so forth. After Tantra Yoga, Kundalini itself isn't puzzling. However, its awakening and the improvement of uncommon capacities to which Kundalini opens access is very well mysterious. The belief in Kundalini rises above relatively every convention of man, despite the fact that there are distinctive structures in which it is being alluded to. The Japanese call it ki, while the Chinese call it chai, and in the Christianity religion it is alluded to as the Holy Spirit. Kundalini can be characterized as the energy of one's consciousness, energy of the self. In Hinduism, Kundalini is alluded to as the mystic or enormous energy which lies idle in the vast majority. It is once in a while related to Shakti, the great goddess, who is likened with divine energy. When it is idle, the Kundalini is ventured to lie curled like a snake, Kunda implies coiled, at the base of the spine, yet it can, in this manner, be raised through a progressive procedure upwards by the utilization of the spine, utilizing diverse contemplation systems which include different postures, purification practices, ritual gestures, and regulated breathing. Kundalini is a well-known word to all students of yoga for its outstanding power as a coiled serpent living in the Muladhara chakra, the first of the 7 chakras. The other 6 are Sisthisthana, Manaparaka, Anahata, Visuddha, Ajna, Sahasrara, all together. All sadhanas as japa, meditation, kirtan, and prayer, and additionally, all development of virtues, and furthermore, the recognition of severities like truth, peacefulness, and self-control, are the best case scenario calculated just to awaken this serpent power and make it to go through all the succeeding chakras, starting from Sisthisthana to Sahasrara, the last generally called as the 1,000-petal lotus, the seat of Sadasiva, or the Parabrahma, or the ultimate isolated, from whom the Kundalini or the Shakti lies at Muladhara, and to join with whom the Kundalini walk through the chakras. It presents freedom to the aspirant who industriously practices yoga or the technique for joining her with her Lord and gets progress likewise in his effort. In the mind of individuals who lust after the flesh are given to enjoyment of sensual and sexual pleasures, the Kundalini power sleeps in light of the fact that there is no stimulus in the form of spiritual practices. As the energy produced through such practices alone awakens the serpent power, and no other energy determined through the keeping of worldly riches and affluence. When the intending member seriously practices all the disciplines as stated in the Shastras and as educated by the educator, in whom the Kundalini would have just been awakened and achieved its habitation Sadasiva, which, when procured, favored accomplishment alone, the individual winds up qualified for go about as a guru or spiritual instructor, guiding and helping other people who need to accomplish comparable outcome. The cloak or layers covering Kundalini starts to blur off, lastly, are torn, and the serpent power is pushed or driven, as it were, upwards. The arousal or awakening of Kundalini. For there to be an awakening of Kundalini, there is requirement for long training and preparatory disciples in spite of the fact that there is no fixed guidelines to it, and, furthermore, the practice of it varies significantly. Kundalini energy can be aroused through yogic ways for the upward visit along the Brahma Nadi. The individual who is trying such energy should, however, accumulate every one of the capacities and quality available to him. The individual can, however, take up any position he finds most appropriate. At that point, he begins the procedure by which Kundalini is awakened, which is through sense withdrawal, or pratyahara, whereby he concentrates on one point, dharana, until a point that his mental cognizance thoroughly stops. The ability of his energy, however, centers on the inner part to the vital air, prana, which is taken in and sustained in pranayama. It coordinates its circulatory development through Ida and Pingala, down to the least piece of the spine until the part where Kundalini lies coiled. This section of prana achieves a sudden impact, like unexpected ignition in a shut space, and its warmth and sound adds to awake the serpent, control from its meditative demonstrations, yoga nidra. The discipline of psychosomatic direction and breath control add to the commitment of Kundalini yoga to tantric ritual. Pranayama alarms the energy of meditative acts, and tantras lay more accentuation on this strategy. Yoga has, however, built up an orderly method for breathing by keeping up its speed, depth, and rhythm. If it was a normal situation, our breathing is very irregular. Both the exhalation and inward breath are shallow and need agreement. While each individual's respiratory cycle reacts powerfully upon the inactive Kundalini, a reaction that happens around 21,600 times a day, which is at a level pretty much equivalent to the individual's number of breaths. Breath is of little profundity, and past filling the lungs to just a little piece of their ability, providing a current of oxygenate quality streaming downwards to strike Kundalini that is entirely lacking to awaken her. Bream outfits the methods for beneficial interaction between different types of life, and furthermore, amongst presence and awareness. Yoga is concerned to direct biomotor force towards the enlarging of consciousness in the human organism. It is through the means of science of breathing that the body's subtle centers are vitalized. How to know when Kundalini has been aroused. At the time of meditation, you become responsive to divine visions. You witness divine taste, divine touch, divine smell, and hear divine anahata sound, and you likewise get guidelines from God. All these are signs that the Kundalini Shakti has been aroused. At the point when the individual's breath stops without putting any power, when Kanala Kambaki is felt independent from anyone else without putting any effort, it is around then that Kundalini Shakti ends up dynamic. At the point when the individual's hairs remain on their underlying foundations, and Uddiyana, Jadalhandra, and Mulabandha are automatically felt, when there is throbbing in Muladhara, then it ought to be noticed that Kundalini has been aroused. During meditation, the eyes concentrated on Trukti, the center of the eyebrows, when the Shambhaya mudra begins working and the current of prana rising is being felt up to Sasahara, when delight is experienced and Om is repeated automatically, when the individual quits reasoning about the world, at that point, Kundalini Shakti has been aroused. At the point when the vibrations of prana is felt in various parts of the individual's body, and the individual encounters jerks as if shocked by electricity, and furthermore, when a man feels as though there is no one around and the individual's eyelids turned out to be shut and couldn't be opened regardless of applying power, when there is a stream of electric-like current here and there on man's nerves, at that point Kundalini has been aroused. The arousal of Kundalini is additionally be experienced while amid meditation you get motivation and knowledge, and every one of your doubts vanish. When nature uncovers its mystery to you, and you can understand plainly the significance of the Vedic writings, and furthermore, when the body turns out to be light similar to air, and there is an adjusted personality in perturbed condition, and the individual can have boundless energy for work, when you get divine intoxication, when you create energy of oration, when you automatically perform distinctive asanas or postures of yoga without the minimum pain or weakness, realize that Kundalini has turned out to be dynamic. When you create lovely, magnificent hymns and poetry automatically, realize that Kundalini has turned out to be active. Kundalini Yoga. Yoga, as a literal word, originates from the root yuj, which can be translated as join. Nonetheless, in its profound sense, it can be characterized as the process by which human soul is brought into close and cognizant fellowship with, or is associated with, the Divine Spirit, in accordance as to the nature of the human soul can be said to be not the same as Dvata, Vishtavita, or one of the Advaita, the Divine Spirit, as indicated by Vedanta. The other recommendation is adequate in light of the fact that yoga is the process by which the identity of Jivatman and Paramatman is acknowledged, and it is acknowledged by the yogin or specialist of yoga. This is made conceivable on the grounds that the spirit has been infiltrated through the veil of Maya, which, as mind and matter clouds this knowledge from itself. This can be accomplished through the yoga process, which frees the jiva from Maya. This has influenced Garen Samata to state, there is no bound equivalent in strength to Maya, and no power more prominent to destroy that bound than yoga. This process by which Kundalini is being raised, which is called Kundalini Yoga or Laya Yoga, is viewed as physically and mentally of extraordinary advantage all through. Nonetheless, the most noteworthy objective is to initiate the Kundalini to rise to the top of the spine and into the brain. This is said to bring about union with Shakti, divine energy, or Atman, the cosmic self, which is followed by a phenomenal condition of mindfulness and delight. Kundalini Yoga is basically emphasized in Tantric Hinduism, the obscure convention related with the goddess. It is additionally generally practiced in Sikhism. Kundalini Yoga was first introduced to the West through a book called The Serpent Power, written by Sir John Woodruff, an Englishman and the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court. Profoundly inspired by the accomplishments of Tantrics he saw in India, Woodruff was initiated into Hindu Tantra and ended up one of the earliest Westerners to transmit Hinduism toward the West. In Los Angeles in the 1960s, Yogi Bhajan conceived Harbhan Singh established the Healthy, Happy, Holy organization, 3HO, which focuses on the ideas and practices of Kundalini Yoga. The practice of Kundalini Yoga centers on raising the Kundalini, or dormant psychic energy, through the body's 7 noteworthy chakras, or focuses of consciousness. The 7 chakras are Muladhara Chakra, base of the spine, Svathana Chakra, close to the genital organs, Manipura Chakra, behind the navel, Anahata Chakra, at the heart, Visuddha Chakra, at the throat, Ahanra Chakra, behind the point between the eyebrows, the third eye, Sahasrara Chakra, the cerebral cortex. Yoga has 4 main forms, and according to a school of thought, they are Mantra Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Lal Yoga, and Raha Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is truly Laha Yoga. There is another characterization, Jnana Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and Mantra Yoga. This depends on the possibility that there are 5 parts of other spiritual life, which are Dharma, Kriya, Bhava, Jnana, and Yoga. Mantra Yoga being said to be of 2 kinds to the extent that it is sought after along the way of Kriya or Bhava. There are 7 sadhanas of yoga, in particular Satkarma, Asana, Mudra, Pratyahara, Pranayama, Dhyana, and Samadhi, which are purifying of the body, seat postures for yoga purposes, the deliberation of the senses from their objects, breath control, meditation, and ecstasy, which is separated into 2 imperfect swakpa, in which dualism isn't entirely overcome, and perfect nirakpa, which is a complete monistic experience. The acknowledgement of the truth of the Mahakva Ahamarahamsmi, a knowledge in the sense of acknowledgement, which is to be observed, does not deliver liberation, moksha, but rather is liberation itself. The Samadhi of Laya Yoga is said to be Svakpal Samadhi, and that of complete Raha Yoga is said to be Nirakpa Samadhi. The importance of Kundalini Yoga. In Kundalini Yoga, it is trusted that the making and supporting of the entire body is really and genuinely joined with Lord Shiva. The yogi spurs Sakti to acquaint him with her Lord. The awakening of Kundalini Sakti and her union with Lord Shiva achieves the state of Samadhi, ecstatic union, and spiritual Anubhava, experience. It is she who gives knowledge, or jhana. Kundalini herself, when awakened by the yogins, accomplishes for them the jhana, brightening. The people who practice Kundalini Yoga believe that it is higher than any other process, and that Samadhi attained is more perfect. Their expressed reason is that Dhyana Yoga, ecstasy, takes place through separation from the world and full mental fixation, driving the variety of mental task, vritti, of the elevating of unadulterated awareness, which can't be obstructed by the impediment of the psyche. The length at which the unveiling of awareness is settled in is dictated by the meditative power, jnana sakti of the sattva, and the degree of separation from the world. In any case, Kundalini is all Sakti and is consequently Jnana Sakti herself, and it offers jhana and mukti when awakened by the yogins. Besides, in the act of Kundalini yoga, there isn't only a samadhi through meditation. However, the focal power of the jiva conveys with it the types of both body and mind. The association in this sense is guaranteed to be more complete than the one done through methods, as it were. In spite of the fact that in the occurrences of the two cases the body consciousness is lost. In Kundalini Yoga, not only the mind that is lost, but the body also, inasmuch as it is represented by its central power, is really united with Lord Shiva at the Sahasrara chakra. The union that comes out of samadhi produces bhukti, pleasure, which a jnana yogi does not have. A Kundalini yogi has both bhukti, pleasure, and mukti, freedom, in its fullest and exacting sense. This is the reason yoga is asserted to be the preeminent of all yogas. At the point when the sleeping Kundalini is awakened by yogi's kriyas, it powers an entry upward through the distinctive chakras, Shat, Chakra, Veda. It stimulates or energizes them into intense activity. When it begins rising, layer after layer of the brain becomes opened completely. All kleshas, torments, and the three sorts of tapa will vanish. The yogi achieves visions, power, bliss, and knowledge. When it gets to the Sahasrara chakra in the mind, the yogi gets the most extreme knowledge, bliss, power, and siddhis. He achieves the most noteworthy rung in the yogic ladder. He gets impeccably disconnected from body and mind. The 7 chakras in Kundalini. In the awakening process of Kundalini, doubtlessly in a circumstance where there is a spiritual crisis or emergency, the individual associated with this process may want to be restless with the physical challenges that emerge from the process or mental movements that are pushing him to an unfamiliar environment. In any case, what is significant in all of these is to comprehend in this awakening process is that it is erupting and unraveling and creating every one of the progressions amid the process. This experience, however, is best comprehended using the model basic to yogis, and this constitutes chakras, energy vortices, and nadis, flows of energy, and different parts and focuses and brain centers that get engaged with the transformative and developmental changes the individual is terminating. In transformation and spiritual awakening of Kundalini, different esoteric systems see chakras in various colors, with enhanced images and different attributes and abilities to each. In opening to chakra in Kundalini, it is trusted that the yogic science of Kundalini, which is Tantra, is the most helpful example to use in grasping the numerous wonders that emerge in a profound awakening process. It is of a general conviction that there are presumably 50 chakras all through the body, and these are the place the awareness and the energy cross, similar to little wheels of energy holding the undetectable energy field of the individual together. Be that as it may, the most significant of these chakras are said to be in the focal point of the spine. The 7 chakras are clarified underneath. Muladhara. This is the primary chakra situated at the base of the spine, the pelvic floor, and the initial 3 vertebrae. It holds a man into a feeling of having a body, of being an alternate individual, a connection and agreement that spirit is making with existence. There are 3 things that can be meant from this, which are the propensity to dormancy, tamas, activity, rajas, or harmonious balance, sattva. It is in charge of the feeling of safety and security on this earthly journey. The word Muladhara separates into 2 Sanskrit words, mula, signifying root, and adhara, which signifies support or base. Despite the fact that this is the primary process to the awakening of Kundalini, it can't, however, be said that chakra has completely been awakened or has been transformed during this season of awakening. There is requirement for other transformation to be done and for the framework to be prepared to epitomize the spiritual feeling of roomy nearness that a full awakening offers. Swadhisthana. It is delineated as a white lotus, Nelumbo nucifera. It has 6 vermilion shaded petals engraved with syllables Ban, Ba, Ma, Ya, Ra, and La. Inside this lotus is a white crescent moon, which speaks to the water area managed by the deity Varuna. The seed mantra, situated in the deepest circle, is a moon white Va. It is the sacral chakra in the sacral plexus territory, situated in the lower stomach, in the lower spine, which control development in the legs and pelvis. This chakra is related with the component water, and it speaks to want, joy, sexuality, and multiplication. As we climb the chakra framework, we change from the first chakra, which is strong-shaped earth, to the second chakra, which is fluid, undefined, and regularly evolving water. It is related with the shading orange. The shading orange has the second longest wavelength, 635 nm, and second slowest recurrence, 480 Thz, in the visual shading range. The organs this chakra is engaged with are sexual organs, digestive organ, bring down vertebrae, pelvis, the kidneys, addendum, bladder, prostate, hip territory, the lymphatic framework, all the body liquids. Its splendid highlights show when it is adjusted. The highlights are graceful developments, enthusiastic insight, capacity to encounter joy, swadhisthana, nurture of self, as well as other people capacity to change and solid limits. At the point when the chakra is unreasonable, it comes about into delight enslavement, unnecessarily delicate and forceful feelings, intrusion of others, tempting control, over-the-top connection, passionate reliance. Insufficiency of it prompts poor social aptitudes, coldness, dread of sex, absence of want, enthusiasm, energy, refusal of delight, dread of progress, unbending nature and states of mind, and its physical dysfunctions are sexual dysfunctions, sexual issues, dysfunctions of regenerative organs, spleen, urinary framework, loss of hunger for sustenance, sex, life, unending lower back pain. Manipura. The Manipura chakra is situated in the sun-powered plexus, or the stomach area. This chakra is related with the component fire, and it speaks to will, power, absorption, and confidence, change and defeating idleness. The first chakra is strong. The second chakra is change and development. At the point when strong issue is rubbed together utilizing development, the outcome is fire and energy. Similarly, as two sticks rubbed together make a fire, it has been known as the fire in the stomach. This fire, or self-discipline, gives us the energy to change, develop, and act in our lives. The physical body needs survival, which is spoken to by the first chakra. The capacity to move and change is spoken to by the second chakra. The third chakra is start and energy to move our bodies energetically. This is the place a man's feelings of an individual character lives. It can likewise be known as the power focus, and it is more inspired by survival and aggregation. The measure of energy here hugely affects absorption, the furious and energy that travels through the organs and all broad mental and physical well-being. It, however, requires investment and, furthermore, self-esteeming to repair any harm in Manipura, and yogis say a true spiritual responsibility can likewise balance out. At the point when there is an appropriate capacity of the chakra in the body, it will be sound, and furthermore, there will be lifespan of life. When it is completely awakened by Kundalini, the feeling of a different personality is viewed as fanciful, and there is a major change in how the will, profound instinct, and expectation is experienced. The significant change in a spiritual awakening, and after Manipura is awakened, the Kundalini is never again fall into the lower chakras. Squares in the third focus can prompt low levels of energy, inspiration, low confidence, trouble in setting on choices, and feeling weak. Being stuck in the third chakra makes it hard to push ahead throughout everyday life. The deity of the Manipura chakra is goddess Lakini. Anahata, also known as heart chakra, is the fourth essential chakra, as indicated by Hindu yogic Shakta, and Buddhist Tantric conventions. In Sanskrit, Anahata signifies unhurt, unstruck, and unbeaten. Anahata Nad alludes to the Vedic idea of unstruck sound, the sound of the heavenly domain. Anahata is related with a just tranquility and quietness. It is situated in the focal point of the chest, in the spine parallel to the heart. On the off chance that there could be no failure, misfortune, or pain as we travel through life, the heart chakra may remain open and adoring on the planet. The heart chakra is associated with the mind's innovativeness, the energy about nature and other individuals, sympathy, and compassion. At the point when all these are promptly accessible, the heart chakra is adjusted and open. Amid the opening of the chakra, there might be sound or voices from another domain, hear humming sounds and music of a woodwind, and feel incredible affectability to the sentiments of others. The individual may briefly have perceptive or psychokinetic encounters, or even an ability to recuperate, may likewise wind up disengaged from the things of the world and discover old joys pointless. The psychological indications of blocked anahata energy results in an imbalanced heart, which prompts risky issues, for example, codependence, manipulative practices, feelings of unworthiness, and a failure to believe yourself or others. Vishuddhi. This is the cervical plexus behind the throat and affects throat, ears, and hearing. Shuddhi intends to refine. However, the work here goes past clearing, since when the chakra changes, it conveys one to terms with the alternate extremes and enables awareness to comprehend and acknowledge both the light and dim parts of life. This brings the mind concordance, internal peace, sympathy, and an astute point of view. One starts to understand that all the testing encounters of life are here to show us. On the off chance that there are clairvoyant interruptions, the individual can deal with them with segregation and not end up diverted or overpowered. More prominent inventiveness and knowledge into profound lessons, ecstasy, and a long life are other detailed advantages of awakening this chakra, and in addition to the incidental capacity to peruse someone else's considerations. The divinity of the chakra is Brahma, the creator, the image of consciousness. In meditation, when singular cognizance is broken up in akasha, we accomplish knowledge and wisdom. The creature assigned to speak to Vishuddhi chakra is a white elephant. The Vishuddhi chakra releases a boundless sentiment satisfaction and flexibility that enables our capacities and abilities to bloom. Alongside this phase of improvement, there is a reasonable voice and ability for singing and discourse, and also adjusted and quiet considerations. Until the chakra is completely built up, specific troubles might be experienced. Blockage of the Vishuddhi chakra produces sentiments of uneasiness, absence of opportunity, confinement, thyroid and throat issues. There might be physically unwarranted indications of gulping issues and discourse obstructions. Anya, also known as third eye chakra, is the sixth essential chakra in the body. It is a piece of the cerebrum which can be made all the more effective through contemplation, yoga, and other spiritual practices, similarly as a muscle may be. While a man's two eyes see the physical world, the third eye is accepted to uncover bits of knowledge about what's to come. The third eye chakra is said to associate individuals to their instinct, enable them to speak with the world, or enable them to get messages from the past and what's to come. The third eye chakra is an instrument to see the more unpretentious characteristics of reality. It goes past the more physical faculties into the domain of inconspicuous energies. Arousing your third eye enables you to open up to an instinctive sensibility and inward discernment. It is related with the accompanying mental and behavioral attributes: vision, intuition, perception of inconspicuous measurements, and developments of energy. Psychic capacities identified with hypervision and clairaudience, particularly access to enchanted states, light, connection to shrewdness, knowledge that spurs, motivate, and that achieves imagination. Be that as it may, when the third eye chakra is inadequate, it can be obvious in the accompanying zones. feeling stuck in the monotonous routine without having the capacity to look past your issues and set a managing vision for yourself. Overactive third chakra without help from whatever is left of the chakra framework may show as dreams that seem more genuine than reality, liberality in mystic dreams and hallucinations. Not having the capacity to set up a dream for oneself and acknowledge it. Rejection of everything spiritual or past the standard thing. Sahasrara. This is the seventh chakra, settled at the crown of the top. The gift of the chakra is experiencing unity and also the altruistic realization that everything is connected at a basic level. We have a tendency to expertise mystical unity with everybody and everything in nature through the energy of the chakra. It's confirmed that there's no intellectual knowing at the extent of the seventh chakra. However, there's serenity, joy, and deep peace regarding life. You have a way of knowing that there's a deeper, that means of life, which there an order that underlies all of existence. The way of the crown chakra is that the method of going on the far side, the boundaries of your own ego. It's the method of transcending the ego and knowing that every one of creation is interconnected at a basic level. A level that some decision the akasha or zero purpose field or simply the field. This can be the basic level of affiliation. According to Tantric philosophy, the seventh chakra is each a receiver and giver of energy and consciousness. It receives energy to sustain life, and it provides back the private energy to unite with the collective pool of consciousness. The distinctive qualities the seventh chakra possesses are the subsequent. It's the meeting purpose between finite, the body and also the ego, the infinite, the universe and soul. It's the place wherever time and being ran into and wherever death and life eternal meet. The thousand-flower petal chakra embraces an angle of feeling for one's life. When we have a tendency to notice that everything is interconnected, which we are a part of the larger theme of life, we start to measure with feeling, religion, and trust instead of crammed with worry and anxiety. We are radio-controlled by the upper power, and that we feel divinity from among and from while not. The task of this chakra is to deliberate the spirit, hospitable the divine, and, at identical time, keep firmly frozen deep within the ground. When Shiva meets Sakti, consciousness and energy. Among the attributes of chakras, there are two important symbols that represent consciousness and energy. These are referred to as Shiva and Sakti. Shiva symbolizes the masculine principle, whereas Sakti symbolizes the female principle, the activating power and energy. Once a power becomes active, and where energy exists, Sakti is at work. Different words that may be used for these terms are Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is consciousness, and Prakriti is nature. Shiva, or Purusha, is cited as pure consciousness, the unchanging, unlimited, and unswayable observer. Purusha has no wishes whatsoever. There are inherent solely in Prakriti. Purusha is that the empty, clear screen onto that Prakriti projects her vibrant film. Shiva is usually delineated as holding a lance that symbolizes the trinity of Ishwara, Purusha, and Prakriti. Ishwara is described because the present, eternal, formless divine principle. Purusha is that the Atma, and Prakriti is that the manifestation, nature. An electrical lightweight may want to make a case for the connection that exists between them. The electrical current that lightweight may be sourced from is Ishwara. The sunshine is Purusha, and also the object that's illuminated is Prakriti. Shakti or Prakriti means power, movement, change, nature. It's the maternal principle, such as the supplier, abundance, as applicable to the kingdom Animalia, yet, because the human kingdom, the mother offers nourished meal, heat, and security for her kids. The mother's love for her is great. She carries and nourishes the kid in her own body. Once the baby is born, the mother provides it with mother's milk and raises it at the sacrifice of her own self till the baby becomes self-directed and might survive severely. When Shiva meets Shakti, there are manifestations of the all-in-one divine consciousness. but are completely different sides of identical coin. The two are ordinarily being depicted as two primal powers and explained as being one half of a single image, as a part representing feminine and also the different male. The one at the left is that the Divine Mother, Shakti, the feminine energy, and also the right aspect is as Shiva, the masculine consciousness. Through the ripping of the aboriginal principle at the arrival of creation, the duality among our lives came into being, beside a powerful force that's perpetually endeavored to reunite with the other part. However, there's generally a misunderstanding of that means of Shakti and Shiva once they are planned severely as man and woman, and their union is considered a relationship. The misunderstanding, but comes once gender and spirituality are mixed. Gender are some things whole natural. It's the union of man and girl, whereas spirituality is that the union of the human and also the divine consciousness. It is only Shiva and Shakti meet that action, movement, and creation will arise. Till the energy is fertilized with consciousness, it's disordered, ignorant, and aimless, and can't see. Meanwhile, once consciousness is given upon energy, produces content, kind, and direction. This additionally applies the other way around, as consciousness alone, while not energy, is dormant power, sleeping energy, and can't cause a modification to something. They each exist along among us, because the masculine and female principles. The impact of this on the physical is that it's the explanation for sexual attraction. Man is of course drawn to female qualities, whereas a lady is additionally naturally drawn to masculine qualities. Through this, the masculine consciousness is attracted by the female and the other way around. If each are balanced, there's no sexual attraction. However, if the tendency for the masculine predominates in man or the female in girl, this ends up in a preference for a homosexual partner. Shiva lives within the Sahasrara chakra and Sakti within the Muladhara chakra. Once Prakriti and Purusha unite within the Sahasrara chakra, knowledge, somebody, and also the object of information unite. Once this can be full-fledged, then no want remains as a result of its realized unambiguously that everything that has ever been longed for is carried among. During the state of absolute consciousness, there are not any polarities and thus no additional sorrows. There's solely everlasting joy, unconditional love, unlimited compassion, and total understanding for all living beings. For as long as consciousness is connected to the organic structure, it's unable to stay perpetually within the Sahasrara chakra, then returns to the residence of the Atma within the heart center, Anahata chakra. A realized person continually thinks, feels, and acts from the center. Embedded in eternal love and eternal happiness, that person is usually aware of the immortal Atma, the ocean of Cloud 9, and their consciousness is forever connected to the divine consciousness. Meditation and Kundalini. Meditation is a procedure of cleansing the mind whenever which appears to be quiet to the individual honing meditation. However, the best time for meditation has been for the most part accepted to be at a young hour early in the day. Amid the procedure, a great deal of thought will ring a bell. The appraised contemplations, the appalling, the furious considerations, however enabling those ideas to go by, is what is known as meditation. Amid this minute, it is trusted that every one of the musings that can pass can never enter the individual's subliminal mind, and they won't trouble the individual again. This method of cleansing takes around 3 minutes to get the considerations, and now and again they bug the individual for about 30 minutes. However, in the event that the individual does not move physically, the mind progresses toward becoming. That is the establishment or the start of the thoughtful mind. At the point when Kundalini has sanitized the lower chakras, she ascends into the heart. There is an incredible profound focus here, and when this middle is initiated, unobtrusive encounters and internal refinement happen, and you start to encounter the distinctive inward universes. At the point when Kundalini achieves this level, The heart opens and tons of joy continue emerging inside. There is a lovely light in the heart, which one finds in meditation. In addition, there is a focal point of unadulterated learning there, and when Kundalini starts to work in the heart, information emerges in you unexpectedly. Distinctive powers, for example, clairaudience, perceptiveness, and the energy of recuperate come naturally. Customarily, after the awakening of Kundalini, meditation comes immediately. There is no compelling reason to focus the mind in light of the fact that the Kundalini herself grasps the mind and focuses it in whatever place she thinks about appropriate. As you get further and more profound into meditation, the individual has incalculable, unpretentious encounters. There is a state called Tandra a man can unexpectedly slip into under the motivation of Kundalini. In Tandra, the individual may have dreams of mountains, streams, divinities, holy people, and even different universes. Tandra takes after the condition of rest. However, it is very not the same as the fantasy state. The dreams you have in Tandra dislike mental trips or dreams, but rather are as genuine as the sights you see with your physical eyes. Regularly, the individual may have dreams of occasions in the external world, which end up being valid. Actually, the individual might have the capacity to see the whole universe in the condition of Tandra while sitting in one place with shut eyes. Now and again, you may see the entire arrangement of nerves, veins, and supply routes, and the stomach-related and eliminative tracts in the body in a diverse light, which spreads through all the nadis. You can even observe the prana coursing through them with expanding forces as the purging of the body proceeds. There is a conviction that once the mind begins winding up still and not having any considerations, the individual will feel an incredible comfort. This is, however, exceptionally agreeable with the end goal that the individual will need to do it again and again. This is a continuous procedure, as the individual will most likely be unable to do it for quite a while initially. However, as the comfort is produced, the idea-hitting process ends up shorter. Meditation in Kundalini Yoga contains particular and down-to-earth instruments that deliberately and accurately bolster the mind and guide the body using breath mantra, mudra, and core interest. The range and assortment of meditation systems in the act of Kundalini Yoga is accepted to be remarkable. Yogi Bhajan passed on several meditations customized to particular applications. There are meditations that lessen pressure, take a shot at addictions, increment essentialness, and clear chakras. The inward voyage of Kundalini must be involvement through yoga and meditation. Inside the Sushma are 6 chakras or profound focuses which obstruct the pathway of the Kundalini as it ascends to the Sahasrara. As the Shakti unfurls, all these chakras are punctured. The chakras can't be found through contemplating life structures. The sacred writings clarify the distinctive areas of the diverse chakras: the Muladhara, close to the butt; the Svadhisthana, between the navel and the sexual organ; the Manipura in the navel; the Anahata in the heart; the Vishuddha in the throat; and the Ana in the space between the eyebrows. Preparing to meditate. Before you start to meditate, it is useful to remember the accompanying rules to get the best out of your meditation hone. 1. Relax. Follow this. Do this anxious and unwind exercise to enable you to relax. Breathe in pointedly through the nose with 1 short and 1 long inward breath, a twofold breath. Stress the entire body until the point that it vibrates with vitality. Hold your breath and the pressure for 5 seconds. Breathe out coercively through the mouth with 1 short and 1 long exhalation, twofold breath. As you do, toss the pressure out. Repeat a few times. 2. Pray. Begin your meditation with a petition. This will help you recall why you are contemplating. You will likewise be welcoming the divine or your higher self to help you in your training. 3. Sit still. Moving your body, even somewhat, sends the vitality into the muscles. The goal of yoga is to pull back that vitality internal and upward to the cerebrum. In this manner, any physical development amid meditation will balance your thoughtful exertion. To shield yourself from squirming, endeavor to think about your body as a rock, solid and unmoving. Decline to move for the initial 5 minutes of meditation, and you will find that your body will develop quiet voluntarily. Your physical and mental anxiety will die down the more you sit still. A glass of sloppy water will turn out to be clear in time if it is undisturbed. The same is valid for us. 4. Look up. Your eyes ought to be shut and held relentlessly, looking somewhat upwards, as though taking a gander at a point around a safe distance away and level with the highest point of your head. It is fundamental to keep your look tenderly raised to that point all through your training. This will pull in your spiritual eye and attract the vitality to the most noteworthy spinal focus, the seat of spiritual arousing in the body. The most effective methods to meditate the accompanying is an exceptionally straightforward meditation method you can ace in 5 minutes. 1. Inhale evenly. Inhale delicately, checking to 8. Hold the breath for 8 more tallies. At that point, breathe out gradually to a similar check. Without delaying, breathe in again. Hold, exhale, each to the check of 8. This is known as the measured breathing exercise. Rehash it 3 to 6 times. You can fluctuate the tally as per your lung limit, yet dependably keep it square with a mid-inward breath, holding, and exhalation. Complete your training by breathing in profoundly at that point, breathing out totally. 2. Hong Sao technique of concentration. Presently, sit tight for the following breath to come involuntary. When it does, at that point, rationally say Hong rhymes with tune. This time, don't hold your breath, yet breathe out normally. As you do, rationally say Sao rhymes with saw. Hong Sao is an old Sanskrit mantra. A mantra is a word, syllable, or gathering of syllables which can pass on spiritual power when articulated effectively, frequently with reiteration. It signifies, I am he, or I am spirit. Try to feel that your breath itself is quietly making the hints of Hong and Sao. You require not make endeavor to control your breath. Simply watch it as it streams in and out normally. In the first place, you might be generally mindful of the physical indication of the breathing procedure as your stomach and chest grow and contract. As your breath becomes quieter, in any case, attempt to end up mindful of its stream in the nostrils. At that point, step by step, exchange your mindfulness. Increasingly elevate it in the nasal entries. With the eyes shut, turn your look upward to the point halfway between the eyebrows inside your temple. Think there. This is the seat of spiritual cognizance in the body, additionally called the spiritual eye or Christ center. In time, endeavor to feel the stream of the breath close to the spiritual eye inside your brow. Keep your look consistent at the point between the eyebrows all through your training. Try not to enable your eyes to take after the development of the breath. On the off chance that you find that your psyche has meandered, delicately take it back to a familiarity with the breath and the mantra. 3. Sit in the stillness. Complete your routine with regards to Hong Sao by breathing in once through the nose, at that point breathing out 3 times through the mouth, and after that, overlook the breath. Aggregate profoundly at the point between the eyebrows. Keep your mind centered and your vitality disguised. Assimilate yourself in the peace produced by your training. Proceed for no less than 5 minutes. Complete with a petition to the divine, offering yourself into the light of God. The advanced specialists, technologists, and researchers have not possessed the capacity to privateer this into their machines, since they are excessively unpretentious. A man can just experience them in meditation as the Kundalini climbs the Sushama. How long to meditate? It exclusively relies upon you. Guarantee you sufficiently enable time after the procedure to sit still and appreciate the quiet, reflective state. For new kids on the block, 5 to 15 minutes daily is bounty. However, as you turn out to be more experienced and start, 30 minutes to 1.5 hours will give you a considerably more noteworthy advantage. You can even do this twice every day on the off chance that you so want. Where to meditate? In the event that conceivable, put aside a territory that is utilized solely for meditation. In time, it will wind up soaked with spiritual vibrations. A little room, a side of your room, or even wardrobe can get the job done as long as it is all around ventilated. Attempt as much as you can to keep it basic. All you truly require is a seat or little pad to sit on and maybe a little sacrificial table. Face the east if conceivable and put a fleece or silk cover on the floor to protect your body from the unobtrusive attractive streams of the earth. Appropriate meditation posture. As prior exhorted that sitting on a straight sponsored seat is all right, there are different methods for sitting that are fitting for intercession. You can sit on the floor in any of the few postures with folded legs, half lotus stance or full lotus posture. Two things in any case are basic. Your spine must be straight, and you should have the capacity to unwind totally without slumping. Sanskrit Samadhi. Samadhi is the ideal association of the individualized soul with interminable soul, a condition of unity. Finish ingestion, it truly signifies to coordinate together, is the state in which the yogi see the personality of the spirit as soul. An ordeal of awesome delight, and in addition of supercognizant observation, the spirit sees the whole universe. It is a thoughtful retention or stupor, achieved by the act of dhyana. In samadhi, the psyche turns out to be still. It is a condition of being absolutely mindful of the present minute, a one-sharpness of brain. Samadhi is a condition of significant and completely absorptive consideration of the absolute that is undisturbed by want, outrage, or some other personality-produced thought or feeling. Samadhi might be achieved through profound, ceaseless, and amend meditation. In this express the three parts of meditation: mediator, demonstration of meditation, the protest of meditation known as God, are at long last joined together. Similarly, as the wave liquefies into the ocean, so too the human soul winds up one with the incomparable soul. Theories and techniques of self-control and meditation. Patanjali set out an eightfold way comprising of helps to yoga: restriction, yama; recognition, niyama; act, asana; control of breathing, priyama; deliberation of the faculties, pritihara; fixation, dharan; meditation, dhyan; and stupor, samadhi. The initial two constitute the moral center of the teachings. The restrictions are restraint from damage, veracity, forbearance from taking, self-control, and restraint from veracity. The observances are neatness, happiness, purification, activities, study, and surrender of the products of one's activities to God. Ais, peacefulness, additionally is celebrated as a morals of separation. Different phases of samadhi are recognized: the cognizant and the supracognizant, which are subdivided into accomplishments with various shades of flawlessness. In the last stage, every psychological adjustment stopped to be, and the self is left in its unadulterated, undefiled condition of absolute disconnection. This is opportunity, kaivalya, or outright autonomy. Satori is said to be unexplainable, incredible, and indiscernible by reason and rationale. It is tantamount to the experience experienced by Gautama Buddha when he sat under the Bo tree, and in that capacity is the focal Zen objective. Satori is undifferentiated from the change, understanding, or spiritual resurrection of different religious conventions in that it constitutes a total reordering of the person in his connection to the universe. Satori, as a rule, is accomplished simply after a time of concentrated readiness, and may happen unexpectedly because of a possibility episode, for example, a sudden commotion. The relative significance of the time of concentrated consideration or the sudden getting through, is weighed diversely by the two noteworthy branches of Zen. The Soto organization accentuates calm, sitting zazen, while the Renzai group commits more regard for the different techniques for realizing an unexpected arousing. The belief in the Kundalini goddess. Kundalini vitality is the heavenly female imaginative power or Shakti vitality. Old history says when the Kundalini Shakti is acknowledged as a goddess, she will ascend through the heart to the head and join herself with the Supreme Being, Lord Shiva. The Kundalini vitality is compared to a serpent resting at the base of the spine until the point that the hotly anticipated require the joining of the manly and the female energies is heard. Some call the Shakti vitality a lethargic life drive. The human climax could give a little thought of this dozing vitality's intense potential. Numerous attempt to actuate this vitality through physical, thoughtful, or stimulating means. This is a risky diversion. In the event that the Kundalini vitality is moved before it is prepared, this capable power could slaughter or debilitate in light of the fact that it would not go through the best possible channels. These channels are called nadis, and there are two of them that keep running from the base of the spine to the highest point of the head. They traverse each different as they weave their move of vitality between the 7 fundamental chakras or clairvoyant focuses of the body. Indeed, even the chakra images recount a story. This vitality is called prana in Sanskrit, its in Mayan, or fundamental embodiment in English. This spiritual liquid goes through the blood. It's considerably more gathered in the semen of men and vaginal liquid of ladies. The 3 knots of Kundalini. Brahmaloka. This is the residence Lord Brahma, the maker god and part of a Trimurti alongside Vishnu and Shiva in Hinduism. Situated on Mount Meru, it is additionally alluded to as Brahmapura or Satyaloka in the Puranas. The word Brahma is regularly utilized as a part of mixes between most elevated and best. Brahmakri, Brahmakasara, or points of interest see Brahma in the New Pali Dictionary. It is expressed that Brahmaloka is the most astounding of the blissful universe a man may accomplish. In any case, Buddha includes that Brahmaloka is ephemeral. Brahmaloka is the most elevated of the heavenly universe, the house of the Brahmas. It comprises of 20 sky to be specific, the 9 standard Brahma universes, the 5 Sudvasa, the 4 Arupa universes, the Asanasata, and also the Vafala. The nature of Brahma Loka is Rajas, which is energetic, extraordinary, or profoundly dynamic. This quality is in charge of servitude through connection to activity and the feelings a practitioner dispatch. Vishnu Loka, Valunakatha, Vaikunthaloka, Vishnu Loka, or Pramanpadam is the heavenly home. Vishnu, who is one of the central gods of Hinduism and the supreme being in its Vishvism custom. Vaikuntha is a residence to him, his partner, the goddess Lakshmi, and other freed souls that have picked up moksha. They are honored with unadulterated delight and bliss in the organization of the Supreme Being forever. Once Kundalini goes past the 3rd chakra, it goes into an alternate world. Vishnu Loka implies Vishnu's world. Vishnu is the part of the divine that manages and looks after life. In the event that you perceive this depiction as the portrayal of the life vitality, prana, you have made the association accurately. The home of prana is in the 4th chakra, the heart, the principal chakra in Vishnu Loka. Vishnu rides the foul Garuda image of the life vitality, which enters the body essentially through the breath, air. The 4th and 5th chakras are in his more unobtrusive universe of vitality related with the astral body. The issues and difficulties of the Vishnu Granthi concern your association with others. While Brahma's reality was the universe of issue, Vishnu's reality is the subtler universe of the vitality. At the point when Kundalini at least goes through the Vishnu Granthi, the sound of the plug flying out of the champagne container might be heard, just this time without the bass drum. It is taken after rather by the sound of the divine music. It is accepted by some that the Veena, an Indian melodic instrument, was initially made to mimic this sound. Rudraloka. Rudraloka is that the heaven higher than the Brahma Loka. This can be the cloud 9 wherever Lord Shiva resides. It is the dominion sacred to the Lord Shiva, set far off from Brahma Loka. On the proper facet of Rudraloka, there's Vaiku, and on the left facet, there's Hindu deity Loka. Kundalini in kids. Kundalini yoga for kids could be a dynamic and all-embracing apply that empowers, builds, and energizes a stronger body to encounter the planet, all told its surprise. It nourishes the soul, transportation kids to wholeness and a self-belief that connects them with their infinite potential. Why yoga for children? A few years past, that question was possibly asked regarding martial arts. Currently, there are categories for kids at martial arts studios around each corner. And, like martial arts, yoga develops several marvelous qualities in kids. In my opinion, I don't feel that there are limitations upon this quality expressing through kids. In some cases, several kids have several of the symptoms of Kundalini and none of the validation from parental figures for the condition. Therefore, validate their experiences and do your best to recognize the reality. I advise that as a parent, UN agency is in an exceedingly Kundalini method. You create yourself at home with the symptoms of Kundalini waking up. As shortly as you're feeling the kid is human action to you, while not prompting by you, a minimum of 3 of the main symptoms, you start to carefully notify the kid what prospects exist with regards to the Kundalini. The butterfly and therefore the caterpillar are correct, and positive analogies in my humble opinion. Besides the plain advantages of effort, the build, each yoga and martial art sharpen the child's ability to focus, offer self-assurance, and develop self-discipline. And yoga, practiced often, helps kids become alert to themselves from the within out. From this awareness, changes and growth in new and positive directions will blossom. Children are therefore contemporary and unhampered by the dictates of society. Their approach to life is exclusive, and yoga encourages their creativeness to flow, their fears, anger, and unhappiness to release their trust within the inner self to shine, their minds and hearts to be in sync. Kids are capable of way more than we predict they are, and if given the proper surroundings, they'll stand out on the far side our belief. Some identified benefits of using Kundalini yoga with children. Emotional health. The kid becomes a lot of alert to however they feel through the yoga, breath, and relaxation. They discover, however, they'll go through feelings into a lot of positive house. Physical health and well-being. Your kid gets up off the couch, far from the table, and moves his or her body rather than moving fingers over a keyboard or phone. Brain tune-up. Kundalini yoga has such a large amount of brain-balancing exercises that activate meridian points to awaken the brain for a lot of whole brain result. This interprets into clarity, ability to be told and perceive teachers, sensible physical and mental coordination. And the biggest good thing about all could be a joyful life, something we are all eager to experience. Kids acquire life as joyful beings. Therefore, allow us to keep them that method. Summary. In summary, Kundalini is associate degree and probably powerful deposit of need, typically referred to as Sakti, symbolized as a convoluted, sleeping serpent, lies dormant at the bottom of the spine. Kundal suggests that curl. Once woke up, it uncoils and ascends through the central channel within the vertebral column, Sushumna, to the crown chakra, Shasahara, at the highest of the pinnacle, triggering associate degree, waking up consciousness, and a transcendent, non-secular state. Put essentially, the vitality of Kundalini is known for its transformative power during the time spent self-advancement and otherworldly improvement. In the Hindu custom where these ideas, as we as of now know them, originate from, Kundalini awakening is both a procedure and a target for profound improvement. It prompts the association of individual awareness and vast and divine cognizant. The idea of Kundalini is therefore regularly depicted uniquely in contrast to one content or convention to another, and seems obscure for the learners and propelled practitioners alike. We should include the substance lost in interpretation from old writings, and, in addition, social contrasts, and we wind up with a thought wrapped in secret and individual stories as interesting as some of the time terrifying. By and by, it's imperative to endure at the top of the priority list that this indispensable power is a characteristic marvel taking an interest in our advancement in different degrees, relying upon our inclinations during childbirth, preliminary work and practices, and our life conditions. Kundalini suggests that in keeping with Zina, see unagency is hidden, and points to the dormant immortal in each human being's body. Even though the Kundalini force can be found in Muladhara Chakra, she hypnotizes humans like Maya herself and renders them slaves to the elusive. Kundalini will solely awaken folks if she travels up on the spine, Zina Shrek. Finally, Kundalini stands for three main objectives: to improve the cleansing method endlessly. Once it's woke up, Kundalini can begin doing the cleansing method 24 hours every day. Energy, which will cleanse the ideal, the event of major chakras, will not the assistance of Kundalini energy. It's tasking to cleanse the inner, a part of your chakras. To unite the practitioner, micro aspect, to the identity, macro aspect. To be ready to come to divine supply as an entire, Kundalini energy provides the bridge to unite the practitioner with the oneness. Thanks again for buying my book. If you have a minute, please leave a review. I take reviews seriously and always look at them. This way, you are helping me provide you better content that you will love in the future. A review doesn't have to be long, just 1 or 2 sentences and a number of stars you find appropriate. Hopefully 5, of course. Also, if I think your review is useful, I will mark it as helpful. This will help you become more known on Amazon as a decent reviewer and will ensure that more authors will contact you with free ebooks in the future. This is how we can help each other. This has been Kundalini, Healing, Awakening, Yoga, and Meditation Secrets, written by Stephanie White, narrated by Kip Ferguson. Copyright 2018 by Stephanie White. Production copyright 2018 by Stephanie White. Meditation for Beginners, Easy Guide to Stress Relief and Peace of Mind, written by Stephanie White, narrated by Kip Ferguson. Introduction to Meditation. Everyone has heard of meditation, but what is meditation and what does it involve? Meditation can be defined as the state of mind when unbroken attention is achieved. This is different to concentration because even intense concentration can be distracted or interrupted. A person may ask, "What is meditation?" and receive various answers, as there are many different practices and techniques used in meditation. The majority of individuals that are interested in meditative practices have similar goals to find peace and serenity and gain control in a calm manner over their environment. This results in a relief of stress and tension that accumulates in our everyday existence. It can also be used as a healing power or to result in the meditator feeling more grounded, which means feeling more connected to his physical environment. The question that everyone asks at some stage of their lives, "Who am I?" can also be the objective of meditative sessions. Therefore, meditation can be directed to have many different desired effects on the human body and spirit. What is the best time for meditation? Meditation is one of the most helpful methods that can help an individual improve his health. This can help you avoid all types of illness related with stress, such as tension headaches, chronic fatigue syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, and panic attacks. Apart from this activity being effective, it is also inexpensive. You only need to do it at least once a day, and you don't have to pay any gym memberships, etc. Plus, people can do spiritual relaxation technique almost anywhere and at any time. However, studies show that most people who meditate say that their meditation is most effective during early morning. One of the reasons is that when you meditate during the morning, you can carry the energy and peace into your work and other activities. When you meditate during early morning, you can be sure that there will be no one to bother you since most people are asleep at this time of day. It is also more peaceful during this time of the day, thus allowing you to concentrate more on your meditation. Meditating before having your dinner is also ideal. You may also meditate later in the evening or before you go to sleep. This is ideal because meditating before you sleep will allow you to get rid of the stress that you have accumulated throughout the day. If you meditate before or after dinner, it will also allow you to get ready for other activities you may have planned. Another good thing about meditating during the evening has something to do about the atmosphere. Evening emanates an atmosphere that is restful and peaceful, thus allowing a person to forget all the troubles that he or she encountered throughout the day. Healing meditation technique can be done at any time, but once you decide to meditate, you need to make sure that you can devote your focus and attention to this activity. It is also best to stick at a fixed time rather than meditating at random times. Being punctual when it comes to meditating will help this activity become more effective. Just try to treat it like other important activities, such as eating dinner or breakfast. Different meditation positions. Meditation has been practiced since ancient times for the advantages it brings. Incorporating meditation into your daily life can have a dramatic effect on your peace of mind and attitude toward life. There are as many forms and techniques of meditation with many different postures or positions that you can take during your practice. Cross-legged position. One of the most well-known positions for meditation is the cross-legged position or lotus position. This posture is taught in many meditative traditions with the instruction that the spine must be kept straight and tall. You must avoid slouching because it can disrupt the free flow of energy or life force through your body. Seated meditation position. Another well-known position, and one that is generally more comfortable for Westerners, is sit on a chair with legs uncrossed and feet planted firmly on the ground. Your hands can lie comfortably in your lap or with your palms facing upward. Again, you must keep your back straight and tall and your head in alignment with taking a seated position. Kneeling meditation position. This posture requires the meditator to kneel while seated on the backs of his or her heels. The hands rest on his or her thighs. Once again, this position is one that is often difficult for Westerners, and if you're not used to it, it can cause damage to your knees. Lying down position or corpse pose. It may sound morbid, but this position is known as the corpse pose in yoga. The meditator lies on their back on the floor, preferably on a carpet or yoga mat, and allows their arms to rest at their sides and their palms to roll upward. Their legs are straight and their feet are gently turned outwards. This is a wonderful meditation posture for stress relief, but it is much easier to fall asleep in this position. One can also add to their meditation practice by incorporating hand positions. One common example is the right hand resting on the top of the left hand with thumbs touching. Another is form a circle with the thumb and index finger of each hand. You can further induce a state of deep meditation by using a mantra or by focusing on your breathing. There are many ways of meditating born out of many traditions. Meditation is simple, but it's not easy, so find what resonates with you and stick with it for several weeks before deciding to try a new technique. Do's and don'ts of meditation practice. Meditation and mindfulness to help with stress is one of the most commonly attempted self-care techniques that usually fail to help people. Here are some tips and tricks on what to do and what to watch out for to ensure you have success and peace in your life. Do's. Do number 1. Try different types of meditation. In Buddhism, there are over 40 techniques, each prescribed to a specific problem or personality type. Some types of meditation that can help are single point, insight, mindful breathing, guided meditation, self-hypnosis, Zen, and many more. You should attempt to try a couple at least. In person is best. Just take it as an experience at first. If you get a good result, go again. Do number 2. Pick a time and a place to practice. Of course, you are really attempting to be here now, so why choose a time? It is preferable, especially when beginning, to start at a time when there are not any other things that need to be done. Start with something easy and doable. Only do meditation for about 10 minutes to start and get the time set. Then, gently expand the amount of time you practice. Do number 3. Get an anchor. Anchors are one of the most important parts of a successful practice, at least in the beginning. Find a motivating or peaceful picture, statue, smell, or other sensory item that you only use during your time for meditation. This will anchor your mind to that as a peaceful and meditative thing which you can later not need. Think of it as training wheels or floaters. You do not need them forever, right? Do number 4. Set up your space. Do your meditation in the same place until you are feeling more confident. Eventually, you can do it anywhere. Do number 5. Be patient with yourself. It is a practice, like medicine. You learn the basics, then practice, because it is a part of your daily existence. Imagine how nice it would be to be mindful of the wonderfulness of what is. Don'ts. Don't number 1. Don't be discouraged if at first you do not succeed. Your mind goes a million miles an hour. You cannot stop thinking, or you have ADD or something. Well, join the club. Meditation will work for you and will help, but only as you begin to add it to your daily life. Don't number 2. Avoid the cultish way of meditation. There is no master meditator. What do? Sit longer or better than others? That is ridiculous. Go and try as many as possible, in person if possible. Just make sure you are clear you are doing this for yourself and not a guru or some teacher that wants you to sign up for a prolonged set of classes. Don't number 3. Don't worry about doing it wrong. You can refine your technique later. You will find your technique. Of course, some say that theirs is the only one that really works. But remember, what works for them might not be your thing. Stay open and curious. Don't number 4. Slouch or lying on the floor. Although great sleeping meditations are out there, we are trying to develop the mind to be a little better, one breath at a time. Sit with a posture that is dignified and worthy of the work you are doing. You're going to have a better life, but sit up and stay awake for it. Don't number 5. Discouragement is a killer in this game. Keep at it. Were you an expert at anything the first few times? It takes time to see things as they are and to begin to not be so controlled by your thoughts. To stop reacting takes time. You have been an expert at worry and stress for long enough. How to meditate correctly with this simple guide. Once you have learned how to meditate properly and started moving ahead in your practice, you will effectively benefit from a healthier body with improved energy levels, immune system, and longevity, a sharper mind with increased mental strength, focus, and memory retention recall, as well as emotional well-being with reduced stress, worry, anxiety, and/or depression, and enhanced self-confidence, optimism, and vitality. On a mystical, more profound level, meditation, also known as the fundamental practice, confers the return to one's pure nature and mind, free from the emotional upheaval of suffering through the defilements of hatred, anger, delusion, and other impure, mundane imperfections of the mind. As the mind goes passive, clear, and serene, just like a mirror with no thoughts of any nature, good or evil, meditation will unfold naturally, allowing you to get in touch with your own self's nature through wisdom, liberating all that energy trapped by worldly illusions and bestowing upon your inner peace and a deep, intense kind of healing. Below is an easy, simple, and useful step guide to help you learn how to meditate correctly. 1. Proper posture. For meditation to come about, it is vitally important to hold your back upright with your head up while cross-legged on the floor, full lotus, or sitting on a chair. Since the body and mind are intimately connected, a proper and well-balanced posture will reflect itself upon your mind. Failing to sit up with your spine straight and shoulders back will make your thoughts drift away, and you will be tempted to follow them. One way to help you sit properly erect and purify your mind is to envision your head touching the sky. 2. A quiet place of your own. You should advisedly find a well-ventilated, uncluttered, and tranquil place where you can sit undisturbed for anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour or more on a regular basis. Be sure to let personal comfort guide you in the beginning, setting up a schedule you can live with and stick to. It would be ideal if you could create a special little place where meditation can naturally unfold. Even better, you can create an altar or a shrine that you can face during meditation. Here you can place candles or other natural objects that strike a chord with you and have a calming and relaxing effect on you, such as stones, crystals, flowers, or seashells. 3. Eyes, half open or closed. While most people associate the meditation practice with keeping the eyes closed, as in Vipassana meditation, and mentally drawing the eyes toward the third eye, the choice of keeping your eyes half open or closed while meditating is entirely yours, as there is no right or wrong way in terms of what to do with the eyes. In fact, this varies among different meditational methods and even teachers. While some argue that thoughts tend to drift when keeping the eyes closed, others prefer closed eyes during meditation precisely because this helps them focus better. On the other hand, some recommend keeping your eyes half or partly open and letting your gaze gently downward and soft, as this method allows you to be effectively more present. Overall, you should advisedly experiment with both half-open and closed eyes methods and see what works for you. For your advancement, it is crucial to relax the muscles around the eyes and choose the method you are most comfortable with. 4. Focus. Meditation is a proven wake-up call that fine-tunes your body, mind, and spirit to realize the true essence of life. In ordinary life, focus equates to concentration, where we use our mind as a focused beam of light to achieve our mundane goals. In meditation, on the other hand, focus has different connotations, and using our tortured, disorganized minds immersed in turmoil is not helpful. When practicing meditation, focus means paying careful attention to whatever you place at the core of awareness. When you focus your thoughts and practice in complete absorption, oblivious to your surroundings, you become empowered in many different ways. In Chan, or Zen tradition, the breath is used as focus because it's regarded as a natural door connecting outside and inside. Relaxed and sustained focus of this kind effortlessly becomes meditation. 5. Breathing. Paying close attention to your natural breathing is an important part of learning how to meditate. The abdomen expands and relaxes as you inhale and contracts as you exhale. Observe your breathing, but refrain from regulating it because it's paramount to become natural. As your focus strengthens, your breathing starts to slow down and deepen, becoming quite subtle and increasingly finer. You will effortlessly begin to relax once residual tension has faded away and will experience a state of well-being, tranquility, and peacefulness. You should devote at least a couple of minutes per day to this breathing relaxation practice. 6. Counting your breaths. In case you are having trouble relaxing so that calm can ensue, you may try the ancient meditation practice of mentally counting your breaths. 1 as you breathe in, 2 as you breathe out, 3 as you breathe in again, and 4 as you breathe out. Then go back to 1. Whenever your thoughts tend to wander, breath counting can help you settle and clear your mind. Returning to 1 allows you to anchor yourself in the present moment and focus your awareness on your breathing. 7. Thoughts. Meditation takes place in the absence of thoughts. When you notice thoughts hovering over your mind, you should gently let them disappear on their own by staying focused on your breath. Trying to forcefully stop thoughts will only make you feel more unsettled and anxious. The mind that doesn't dwell on anything is known in the Buddhist tradition as the original nature, or true mind. One way to let thoughts go naturally is to imagine they are unwelcome visitors that you politely ask to leave. At no time should anything feel uncomfortable or forced. Instead, it should all happen free of any concern or worry on your part. 8. Silence. You may try practicing with the aid of meditation music, but the best results are achieved when sitting in complete silence, because as you progress in your meditation practice, the outer and inner silence comes together, giving way to a profound kind of healing. Sitting erect in pure silence allows the mind to properly settle and to grow quiet and calm. 9. Emotions. When you feel overwhelmed by powerful emotions, such as fear, anger, shame, and frustration, which are bound to give way to unsettling stories in your mind, you may find sitting down to meditate quite difficult. The best way to deal with such strong emotions when learning how to meditate is by refocusing on your bodily sensations that reflect these emotions. Different emotional states have been scientifically proven to be intimately connected to a wide array of physiological changes or body feelings, ranging from the racing pulse that results from fear or anger felt in the upper chest area and sweaty palms when we are nervous or anxious, to the glorious feeling of happiness felt from head to toe. By directing all your attention to your bodily sensations, you are acknowledging your emotions without being caught up in the stories arising from them, which, in turn, enables your mind to put them behind you, too. Duration. Advisedly, start by sitting anywhere from a couple of minutes to longer, or for as long as you feel completely comfortable, whenever you happen to think of meditation. Do not force yourself to sit for longer periods as you learn how to meditate. If you experience any discomfort or restlessness after some time, you can gradually increase the duration of your meditation to 20 to 25 minutes, which allows you to stabilize your mind without causing a lot of stress on your physical body, and, in time, to even an hour or more per day. The most important thing is to do what feels right and especially comfortable for you. Delight. Equally important is to take great delight in practicing meditation, because enjoyment holds a powerful significance over the outcome of your entire efforts. In keeping with the Kalama Sutra, do not do something because you have been told to do so, but instead, find out what works for you. Don't put pressure onto yourself. Just be kind to yourself and let meditation unfold naturally, as it should. Take it slowly as you learn how to meditate, sitting a few minutes each day with a hint of smile on your face. As you advance in your practice, you are required to sit motionless for longer periods of time, and then you may need to make some adjustments in the way you sit. How to sit correctly when you meditate. The key body parts to be aware of whilst meditating is the positioning of your legs, your knees, your back, arms and hands, your neck and head, and eyes and jaw. The ideal meditation posture is sitting cross-legged on the floor on a mat, hands resting gently on your knees or softly clasped together on your lap. Your back is straight and your head and neck in line with your back. If you have a habit of grinding your teeth or clenching your jaw, make sure your jaw is relaxed by allowing a slight space between your upper and lower lips. Gently close your eyes or keep them open with a soft gaze. If you do find it difficult to feel comfortable while sitting on the floor, you can always sit on a chair and meditate. If you choose to sit in a chair, bear in mind the following points. 1. Have your feet flat on the floor, toes pointing forward, and feet positioned about hip distance apart. If your feet do not touch the floor, then rest your feet on a cushion. When your feet are resting flat on the floor, rather than tucked under your chair or crossed at the ankles, you sit up straighter. Rest your hands gently on your lap, lower your shoulders, and allow your shoulder blades to relax and keep your chest broad. Relax your jaw and lengthen your spine. 2. Lengthen your neck, keep your chin level with the floor, and tuck it in slightly, which helps to keep your neck nice and long and brings your neck in alignment with your head, neck, and back. Close your eyes or keep them open with a soft gaze. How to sit for and perform breathing meditation. Even though meditation is an exercise of the mind and not that of speech or the body, our bodies and our minds are closely interconnected. Since our bodies and minds are so closely interconnected, it is very important that when we meditate, that we maintain proper posture. Maintaining proper posture is important because it facilitates the mind in being concentrated and clear. If you're going to meditate sitting on a cushion or on a folded up blanket or towel, you should sit cross-legged or ideally in the lotus position, with each foot lying on top of the opposite thigh. If sitting in the lotus position is too hard, we should attempt to sit as close as possible, as long as you are comfortable. If you're going to sit in a chair to meditate, you should let your feet rest on the floor. Now that you are sitting, your back should be straight and erect. Your right hand should be placed and resting on the left hand, with your palms facing upward and with the tips of your thumbs raised a little and touching each other, resting around the navel. Your mouth should be closed ever so slightly, with the tip of your tongue gently touching the back of your teeth.
Your head should be tilted a little forward, with your eyes almost closed, with your shoulders remaining level. This is the posture that you should assume during all of your meditation sessions. Once you have settled yourself in the correct meditation posture, it is time to posture your mind. You should try to calm your mind, because if you have monkey mind, a busy and distracted mind, your meditation will be fruitless and unsuccessful. The breathing meditation will start now. This meditation is designed to dispel distracting thoughts in order to obtain a clear, calm mind. Now, as you exhale, you will imagine that you are breathing out all your distracting thoughts in the form of smoke, which will disappear into space. As you inhale, you will imagine that you are breathing in goodness, peace, and serenity, which will enter in your body as a clear light and dissolving into your heart. You'll repeat this inhalation, exhalation, breathing out your distractions and inhaling the good things. You should do this for about 15 minutes or until you feel calm and serene. Meditation, the mental benefits. Meditation is an up-and-coming treatment to help alleviate one of the biggest problems faced by many people today, an overactive mind. Though being busy is typically a good thing, dealing with racing thoughts on a daily basis can often lead to stress and tension. When you are overloaded in that way, you can suffer from all sorts of physical ailments, such as high blood pressure, poor rest, and anxiety. With that in mind, psychologists are looking to help people deal with this mind stress. In lieu of medications, psychologists are using a natural treatment in the form of meditation. When people are suffering from anxiety, anger, or depression, they just need to slow down. Their thoughts are often racing, and they never give their body or their mind a chance to calm down and take account of the things around them. One of the best ways to stop these issues is by giving the mind a break. For this, psychologists are choosing meditation as their primary means of treatment. When meditation is used, the mind slows down and individuals are able to actually think their way through different circumstances. What this creates is a scenario where individuals are able to fight off thoughts of depression and are able to quell the devastating effects of anxiety. Meditation has been known to lead to feelings of happiness and vitality. Different types of meditation have been around for centuries. The reason it has been able to sustain over the years has everything to do with the intrinsic ability of individuals to stay calm. When you use this ancient remedy, you are able to raise your own intuition, and this brings about more self-confidence. With so many positive thoughts flowing and the mind slowing down all of the negative thought processes, it is no wonder why so many psychologists are using meditation to help counteract common mental issues. Types of meditation are most beneficial for those with a host of different mental conditions. Guided meditation is one of the best ways to calm the mind. This is when people use imagery to get to a place that's more soothing and more relaxing. They work to relieve stress by replacing poor thoughts with nice thoughts. Qigong comes from China and is considered a top form of meditation for calming the mind. It includes breathing exercises as well as physical movement and relaxation. Mantra meditation is another type of relaxation where you repeat a word over and over to achieve a state of relaxation. Each of these is right for certain types of people, and they all attempt to remove negative thoughts while replacing them with happy, positive thoughts. The benefits of meditation are profound because they bring peace to both the body and the mind. With so many diseases and conditions being related to stress, it is absolutely essential that individuals do everything in their power to put stress to rest. If the mind is never allowed to rest and relax, individuals have little chance of finding real inner peace. Having a clear, rested self makes sleeping much easier, and it brings about better overall health, according to psychologists. Meditation and its benefits. 1. Stress relief. Meditation is great for stress relief. This is perhaps one of its most important benefits because stress can lead to a variety of diseases, including heart disease, stroke, and depression. It can often be very difficult to switch off mentally from the day's events, but meditation provides a great way of doing so, and thus helps your body and mind to get some much-needed relaxation. 2. Increasing energy. As well as helping the mind and body to rest, meditation can also provide an energy boost. It might seem paradoxical, since meditation basically involves slowing the mind and body right down. But many people find that after a meditation session, they feel both physically and mentally revitalized and ready to continue with their day with a new enthusiasm. 3. Learning to focus. A further benefit of meditation is that it helps you to learn to focus your mind on one thing. In today's media-saturated age, many of us are subject to information overload, and attention deficit problems are on the increase as a result. Many people find it increasingly hard to focus, and this isn't a good thing, since success in any sphere of life depends in large part on the ability to keep your attention on what's important. So using a meditation method which requires you to maintain a single point of focus on something, such as your breathing for a flickering flame, you're learning a valuable skill that will benefit the rest of your life as well. People who have the ability to focus are also less stressed as a result of continual mental distraction. 4. Exploring the potential of the mind. A fourth benefit that meditation can provide is that it provides you with the doorway to experiences and abilities that most people never know about. Our minds are much more powerful than most have been led to believe, and if you've ever wanted to explore things like that body experiences or develop your physical powers, meditation is the most effective way to do it. This is because meditation provides you with a way to control your brain state and access the levels of consciousness where such abilities and experiences are to be found. Spiritual benefits of meditation. More compassion for others. Increased spiritual wisdom. Self-actualization. Leads to a person discovering their purpose. Increases happiness and overall well-being. Prevents molehills from turning into mountains. Path towards enlightenment. Better relationship with God. More positive outlook on life. A person develops forgiveness. Balances body, mind, and spirit. Better understanding of others and yourself. Inner peace. Enables you to live in the moment. Increased and deep ability to love. Development of psychic powers. Feelings as you are one with everything. Increased attraction of desires. Physical benefits of meditation. Lowered heart rate along with increased blood flow. Able to exercise longer at an increased rate. Able to relax easier. Lowers high blood pressure. Prevents anxiety attacks. Reduces allergies. Helps with menstrual problems. Improves the immune system. Increases energy and vigor. Aids in weight loss. Improves skin elasticity. Reduced cholesterol. Slows the aging process. Reduces severity and frequency of headaches. Clearer thinking. Less visits to the doctor. More efficient use of movements and actions. Reduces asthma symptoms. Improved physical performance in sports. Stabilizes weight. Calms the nervous system. Improves brain activity. Improves fertility. Psychological benefits of meditation. Improved self-confidence. Better mood through increased serotonin levels. Eliminates fears. Improves focus and concentration. Improved creativity. Better brain wave coherence. Able to learn and recall things better. Feeling of vitality. Improved emotional stability. Better relationships. More youthful mind. Increased intuition. More productive. Able to solve more complex problems. Increases willpower. Better brain function. Increased motor performance. Increased IQ. More satisfaction out of life. Less sleep required and better sleep. Increased moral values. Calms the thinking. improved listening skills, less likely to worry, improved decision-making, improved tolerance in negative situations, increased emotional maturity. Another big benefit to meditation is that there are no negative side effects. The benefits of meditation are numerous with no negative side effects, and it only takes a little time per day. Meditation breathing tips. There is more to meditation breathing than just taking long, deep breaths, although that is a good place to start. Once you are meditating on a more regular basis, and you want to start achieving deeper levels of meditation and relaxation, you will need to try using different breathing techniques to help reach those goals. Here are some easy meditation breathing exercises that are commonly taught to people who are just starting to meditate. If you have any trouble with some of the more advanced breathing techniques later on down the road, you can always come back to these basic breathing techniques. Long, deep breathing. Long, deep breathing is essentially what you're already doing. It's just doing it in a more focused way. Long, deep breathing is when you use your diaphragm to breathe in, hold a breath for several seconds, and then blow it out. This type of breathing is excellent for reducing tension or calming you down when you're angry or upset. Breath of fire. The breath of fire technique is a breathing method used primarily in Kundalini meditation. Breath of fire is performed by pulling in oxygen through your nose, then pumping it out of your body rhythmically without tensing your chest, rib cage, or abdominal muscles. The breath of fire, when done correctly, has the same action that a bellows that is used to start a fire has. It's usually the second type of meditation breathing exercise that people learn. Meditation postures. Meditation is basically a mental exercise that rejuvenates, invigorates, and enlivens your mind and body. It plays an important role in keeping all the stress, anxiety, negativity, and skepticism at bay. It also helps you to deal with all kinds of tribulations with lots of positivity, optimism, and sanguinity. It is a simple technique that helps you to live a better life. The easiest way to amplify the good effects of meditation is to meditate in a proper posture. An ideal posture is one that keeps your mind and body alert, yet relaxed. Let's take a look at some commonly used postures. Egyptian posture. This is the most commonly used meditation posture. You have to sit in an upright position such that your head, neck, and back are in a straight line. You can either keep your hands on your knees or in your lap, depending on whether you are using concentrative or non-concentrative technique to meditate. You can keep your eyes open or closed. One thing that you should bear in mind while using this posture is to keep your body fully relaxed. Any kind of strain or pain can cause more harm than good. If you find it difficult to sit in this posture for a long time, then instead of sitting on the floor, use a chair. Tailor's posture. In the posture, you have to sit down and bend your knees so that the soles of both the legs touch each other. For stability, there should be 3 points of contact with the ground, your butt and knees. If both your knees do not touch the floor, then use thin cushions to enhance stability. Burmese posture. This meditation posture is similar to the tailor posture, but the legs are not spread out that much. Moreover, the soles also do not touch one another. Here also you have to sit on the floor and bend your legs in such a manner that one foot is positioned right in front of the pelvis and the other foot is placed before the first one. Fold your hands and place them in the lap. Make sure that your spine is perfectly aligned with your neck and head. Lotus posture. This posture is good for you only if you have a lot of flexibility in your legs and knees. For this posture, sit on the floor and hold your left foot with both the hands and place it on your right thigh such that the heel touches the groin. In the same manner, place your right foot on your left thigh. Make sure that both the knees rest upon the floor. This was the full lotus posture. If you intend to do half lotus posture, then you just have to place one foot on the opposite thigh. In both the forms, you sit in the upright position. Kneeling posture. If you are overweight or lack flexibility, then kneeling posture is perfect for you. In this meditation posture, you have to sit on your knees such that both the knees are together and feet are about 12 inches apart. Sit between your feet and ensure that your head, neck, and back are straight line, and your soles are upwards. Meditation tips for beginners. 1. Make it a formal practice. Set aside a time in the day that is your meditation practice time. 2. Only meditate for as long as you are enjoying it. It is especially important in the beginning that meditation is not a chore. 3. Do yoga or stretch first. Firstly, physical activity will draw your own awareness into the body and away from your mind. A practice like yoga loosens the muscles and tendons, allowing you to sit more comfortably. Additionally, yoga opens the body not only at the physical level, but also at subtle level, which facilitates movement of energy in the body. 4. Pick a specific location in your home to meditate. Ideally, the place you choose will be somewhere that does not have much activity at other times. 2 reasons for doing this are, the subconscious is conditioned by repetition, so by going to the same place at the same time each day to meditate, you can get in yourself to expect to meditate when you are there. The second reason is that when you meditate, you begin to create a particular vibration in that spot. With time and meditation and place will become increasingly attuned to this energy of meditation, again making it easier for you to meditate when you are there. 5. Make sure your will meditation time is respected. If you live with others, make sure that they understand that you are not to be disturbed while you are meditating. Equally, for yourself, make the same commitment. For example, if your phone should ring, be aware of it and continue your meditation. 6. Create some representation of sacred space in your meditation spot. This should obviously be what is meaningful for you, maybe an actual altar with pictures and objects, or maybe just a special rug and your meditation cushion. 7. Use ritual if it helps you. This doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be as simple as lighting a candle or lighting incense. The repetition of a ritual before you meditate is again conditioning preparation for your body and mind. 8. Commit for the long haul. When you begin with the clear idea in your mind that the greatest benefits from meditation will accumulate with time and see it as an ongoing process, you are less likely to give up in frustration. 9. Meditate with understanding. Get clear in your mind exactly what you think meditation is and what it will be like before you start. Invariably, everybody does have ideas and expectations like this. It is very helpful to make them conscious before you start. 10. Be clear of your motivation to begin meditation. When you understand your reasons and objectives in beginning meditation, you are more likely to find a practice or technique that will work for you at that time. 11. Begin with a particular practice that you have actively chosen and commit to doing it for a given period. Many beginners are constantly jumping from one type or technique of meditation to another. Your meditation practice is a relationship with yourself. It will not deepen if it consists of one-night stands. This is not to say that the practice or technique you begin with is the one you stay with for the rest of your life, but a relationship is best left when you know exactly why it is that you are leaving, and not done simply on impulse. 12. Educate yourself. Confusion and misunderstanding is primarily caused by ignorance. Find a good teacher or online community where you can get answers. Read some books on meditation and spiritual practice. 13. Notice if frustration starts to creep into your practice. If you notice this happening, take some time to explore what is going on for you. What expectation is not being fulfilled? Then examine the expectation itself. What is it based on? 14. Be honest with yourself. An earlier said meditation is a relationship with yourself. You are the most important person you need to be straightforward with, and meditation is a key place to practice this. 15. Be prepared for some discomfort. It is normal in the beginning to experience some physical discomfort when sitting to meditate. Most people are not accustomed to sitting still, other than maybe slouched on a couch. Your body needs time to develop strength and openness in the right places to allow you to sit comfortably and alert. Sooner or later, discomfort will also be experienced at the emotional and mental levels. If you are not consciously prepared for this, it is likely to deter you from continuing. 16. Until you are well versed in your meditation practice, it can be very beneficial to use a recording to guide you. This will help your mind to let go of concern about what you are doing, and the recordings can act as a guide until you no longer need it. 17. Start to look for moments of awareness during the day. Finding space to be consciously present during everyday activities is a wonderful way to evolve your meditation practice. Take advantage of the time spent waiting in traffic, waiting in line, waiting for anything, to become present to yourself and what you are experiencing within yourself. Look for such opportunities in your day, however brief, simple as they are, can radically change your experience of life. 18. Do it together. Meditating with a partner or a group can have many wonderful benefits and can improve your practice. When meditating with others, many people say that it improves the quality of their meditation. However, it is necessary to make sure that you set agreed upon ground rules before you begin. 19. Don't stress about it. This may be the most important tip for beginners and the hardest to implement. Many people in beginning meditation become anxious about whether they are doing it right or not, or whether something they experience should be happening or not. 20. Invest in a good, comfortable meditation cushion. If you need other things to allow your body to sit comfortably in without strain, get them. If you set yourself up with the things that you need, you are removing a future potential pitfall to your practice. Meditation is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. Like any lasting and meaningful relationship, it takes energy and commitment. It takes understanding and tolerance. If you put these things into your practice, meditation will become your best friend and powerful resource.
Meditation types. It is a bit daunting to try to confine meditation types in a particular number, as there are so many of them. However, there are a few most common and most important that are worth mentioning here. 1. Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is simply a meditation way which allows you to become more aware of the here and the now, i.e., being in the now. You focus on what is going on around you at the time you are meditating, and you become aware of every thought and feeling that you have during the meditation process. The way to do this is by following your breath, then moving your full attention to your thoughts, the feelings you have in your body, e.g., tingling in your fingers, tickling of your nose, etc. What you must do is simply becoming an observer without analyzing or judging. 2. Empty mind meditation. This type of meditation is called awareness without an object, which means being aware without focusing on something particular. You simply sit still, if possible in the lotus position, and just let your mind wander on its own. Let it go silent. If you feel thought coming up, just simply acknowledge them and let them evaporate without judging them. 3. Watching your breath meditation. Maybe this is the easiest type of meditation that a newbie can start out with without becoming overwhelmed. Sit in your favorite position, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. Breathe normally, don't force it, and focus on your breathing. Pay attention to how the air is going through your nose, down to your lungs, and then how the process is reversed. 4. The Om meditation. You can actually use here either the Om or simply concentrate on another specific mantra, like a positive reinforcement. Just keep repeating it while you meditate, if possible around or in your head if you're not alone. 5. Concept meditation. This means you will meditate on an idea, a particular concept like the fleeting nature of life, or anything else that is not very specific. You could contemplate on how a flower blooms and then it fades away, for example. Basically, this technique bypasses your rational mind and gives you a different type of understanding. 6. Walking meditation. You can practice this type of meditation either in your own room or outside on your patio or garden. Just watch your body as it moves its different parts, one at a time or in tandem. Watch your legs and arms swinging by. Focus on these, and if you catch your mind wandering off, just gently bring it back into focus on your walking. Do not judge, just simply allow it to happen, and return to meditation. Origin of meditation.
Finding the origin of meditation may be quite hard. Meditation is deep-rooted in Asia, and countries like China, India, and Japan are practicing it for thousands of years. Tribes in South India had developed tantric meditation about 15,000 years back. Tantric meditation was in common use those days, so we can put forward that concept of meditation emerged from Asia and took various forms in all over the world. Other views about the origin of meditation claims that it originated from the human being's curiosity for the purpose of men, purpose of the universe, and to find God by looking inside the self to realize the nature and its existence. Historical views. Meditation is as old as creation because it is an inherent state in all of creation. It is simple, natural. Although, like anything else, it has been through a process of evolution and sometimes de-evolution in the way human beings have realized it. All historians have consensus over the points that meditation has evolved during unknown ancient times and that it was not practiced in such a way in which it is practiced today. Taoists started practicing meditation during 500 to 600 BC. Buddhists also started using meditation in the same era. In history, Buddha is one of the greatest promoters of meditation. He was the one to teach meditation in Asia during 500 BC. Buddha has introduced the basic forms of meditation, and all the world adapted and transformed these meditation techniques according to their needs and purposes. Important point to note here is that Eastern countries were the origin of meditation and getting relief through various meditation techniques. West had adapted this culture from East. During 10th century, Western researchers conducted researches on meditation and came to know about its physical and psychological benefits. Since then, they are using meditation as a widespread practice in their culture. Western population widely practice meditation for peace of mind and to get relief from daily life stresses. Nowadays, a downfall has been observed in practices of meditation, and the reason is lack of time. Many years ago, meditation was considered something just not meant for modern people, but now it has become very popular with all types of people. Published scientific and medical evidence has proved its benefits. Meditation encompasses a wide variety of practices that are somewhat different while holding to the basic principles of consideration and quiet thought to bring about a state of rumination. Various types of meditation that are recognized include prayer, Zen, Taoist, mindfulness, and Buddhist. Some methods of meditation may require the body being absolutely still or to be moved with controlled deliberation, while other types allow for free movement of the body. While the methods are different, the end goals of all types of meditation lead to a mind that is quieted and free from stress by the use of quiet contemplation and reflection. Things to avoid when starting a meditation practice. People learn to meditate for various reasons, and meditation can have huge benefits for your physical, mental, and emotional health. While there are many books and articles available on how to meditate, it's also important to be aware of some of the pitfalls that meditation can involve and what not to do. In this article, we'll take a look at 3 things that often derail new meditators and what you should do to avoid them. This is not to try to put anyone off meditating, just the opposite in fact. To have the best chance of sticking with it and getting the most from your sessions, you need to know what to expect when learning to meditate and what are realistic expectations about what you can expect to experience. So, here are 3 things to try to avoid when learning to meditate. 1. Impatience. First and foremost, don't expect results too soon. Like anything else, meditation is a skill that needs to be learned and practiced. While some people seem to be naturally gifted at keeping their thoughts focused, for most of us, it's more difficult, and it takes time to learn to quiet the mind and experience the full benefits of meditation. So, what should you expect instead? You should be prepared to meditate every day without any real expectations to begin with. This might sound a bit odd to those who are typically goal-oriented, but meditation is really one of those things that should be done for its own sake, at least at the start. Later on, you might want to meditate for specific purposes, such as reducing anxiety or developing extrasensory perception. But for now, just focus on sitting in meditation without an end goal in mind. This way, you'll feel less frustrated on those inevitable days where you sit there with thoughts racing madly around your head and feel like nothing happened. 2. Inconsistency. Second, you should avoid inconsistency. This means making it a priority to set some time aside each day for your meditation practice. Why? Simply because the more often you meditate, the easier it becomes to quiet the mind and connect with your inner self. If you just do a bit here and now when you're in the mood, chances are you'll never move beyond that frustrating beginner stage where your mind is jumping around all over the place. So try committing to meditating every day for at least several weeks before making any judgments about whether it's working for you or not. 3. Negativity from others. Third, you should avoid letting others influence your meditation practice. This may not be an issue for everybody, but meditation is still viewed as a kind of weird thing to do by many people. So, if you have others in your life that make disparaging remarks about meditation, you should ignore them. If you let the opinions of others influence you away from doing something you really want to do, chances are you'll end up being miserable because you're not living in accordance with your real values. So, resist any attempts by others at derailing you from your meditation practice, and eventually, you'll probably find that they'll come to respect your decision to stick with it. And if they don't, it's really not your problem. Tips to improve your meditation practice. Thousands of people have started meditation only to give it up after a few days. Others keep going, but never really experience the calmness and peace that others do. It doesn't matter if you're new to meditation or a pro. Here are a few things you can easily do to improve your meditation results quickly. Improve your meditation area. If you do not like your meditation results, try changing up the spot where you meditate. Make sure that you have a very comfortable pillow that you can sit on, and make sure that your clothes are also comfortable, especially at the waist area. You may want to play with the temperature during a few sessions to decide whether you personally prefer it a few degrees warmer or cooler while you are meditating. Once you find your personal preference, remember to use it during future sessions. Make sure that your area is going to remain silent while you're meditating. The fastest way to get discouraged is by getting interrupted constantly. If you chose to set up a small table, avoid overcrowding it with too many different objects. The visual overstimulation can be challenging for newbies. Effective meditation breathing. Remember to breathe in and out through your nose. This makes even breathing much easier. As you start, remember to feel your rib cage expand as you breathe in deeply. Hold your breath only just barely, and exhale slowly. It has helped many to count up to 4 during each inhale and exhale. Remember to feel the appreciation for each breath as they each relax you. Remember that breathing is part of the healing experience of meditation. Don't think about what you're thinking. When you are new to meditation, a flood of internal thoughts is common. Remember that meditation is a journey that doesn't happen overnight. Enjoy the journey and let yourself be okay with not doing it perfectly the first few times. Remember that your mind can't continue to race unchecked if you follow the breathing tips above. Oftentimes, you think the same thoughts over and over again during the day, but you never really think about what you are thinking. When you meditate, just acknowledging your own thoughts will help calm the thoughts down. Top meditation techniques for stress. People deal with stress every single day. We may be fully aware of its presence or not, but it is always there. That is precisely the reason why it is important for us to deal with this effectively through the different meditation techniques for stress. If we allow stress to get into the better part of our existence, then our mind will soon be clogged up with negative thoughts and ideas that soon enough we might wear out. In order to avoid such situation, we should learn how to relax and take care of ourselves. There are different ways on how to approach meditation. Breathing exercises. Breathing exercises is best done during the early morning hours or during quiet, lazy afternoons, or best in the evenings when everything is tranquil. Allow yourself to be in a comfortable position. As you sit, try to relax all your tensed muscles right on top of your head to your eyebrows and your lips. Breathe deeply. As you do this, continue relaxing your muscles in your neck down to your body until you reach your feet. Relax your arms and hands as well. Try to concentrate on positive thoughts. Inhale and exhale evenly for the next 15 minutes or so. Mindfulness. Every day we keep moving. We try to fill our minds with all the stuff we need to accomplish. There are so many goals in the future that need to be achieved. What about today? What about right now? Have we completely forgotten to appreciate that? This is what mindfulness is about. It allows you to focus on what is important right now in order for you to not miss the moment. Time is fleeting. It can never come back. Practice mindfulness. It is one of the most powerful meditation techniques for stress. Guided visual imagery. Known as creative visualization, guided visual imagery is being used to relieve stress and anxiety. It is one of the most relaxing meditation techniques for stress. When we imagine no restrictions are made, we can imagine whatever we want. We could visit places as we travel through our mind. In guided imagery, such imagination has a very essential role. This creative session allows the body to relax. It can relieve stress and anxiety. How is this done? There should be a facilitator to narrate a story or a creative script. Other ways to do this is to read, listen to an audio tape or video, or have a friend read the creative script to you. The use of descriptive language is important. This will relax you. Before doing guided imagery or creative visualization, like breathing exercises, you must be in a comfortable position, be in a serene, tranquil surrounding free from distractions, have loose clothing to facilitate relaxation. As you close your eyes, loosen up. Relax your mind and body. Concentrate so that the creative images will appear gradually as you imagine them.
And we're recording. Mindfulness for Beginners, Meditation and Stress-Free Living in Everyday Situations. Written by Stephanie White. Narrated by Kip Ferguson. And we're out. Introduction. Mindfulness, your link to the universe. Mindfulness is the secret of life. A life lived mindfully is a life lived full of peace, tranquility, joy, bliss, ecstasy, and compassion. Mindfulness is our direct link to the universe. It is the solution that we as human beings have been seeking outside ourselves since the beginning of modern times. The simple practice of mindfulness has been around for thousands of years. However, most human beings discard this approach to life and instead search for more complex and intellectual philosophies or techniques. Unfortunately, this external journey never resolves itself. There are many individuals and texts available that also complicate and overanalyze mindfulness. It seems that our ego is programmed to complicate even the simplest solutions. Mindfulness is meant to be simple, yet a profound way to live. This present-centered solution allows us to live authentic lives. Mindfulness is a specific form of meditation, or simply put, awareness of the moment. There are many different forms of meditation. However, we are going to specifically focus on mindfulness meditation, which this author believes to be the most practical and pure meditative exercise. Mindfulness involves directly participating in each moment as it occurs with complete awareness of your present experience. Life only exists in the here and now when practicing mindfulness. The moment we experience is pure and unadulterated mindfulness is a living meditation that you can practice each second of your precious life. There is no need to escape to a secluded place, as you can engage in mindfulness anywhere and at any time, no matter what is happening around you. Mindfulness liberates us from memories of the past and fantasies of the future by bringing reality of the present moment clearly into focus. They also express that mindfulness makes us aware of life's everyday miracles. In one of the ancient Buddhist commentaries, it is stated that mindfulness is presence of mind, attentiveness to present. Mindfulness is a moment-to-moment awareness of whatever arises, whatever exists. Mindfulness is having the aware, balanced acceptance of present experience. It is not more complicated than that.
It is opening to or receiving the present moment, pleasant or unpleasant, just as it is, without either clinging to or rejecting it.
History of mindfulness. The concept of mindfulness has origins in Eastern philosophy teachings, and it is generally associated with a practice of meditation and quiet self-reflection. You may know of common phrases that are used to describe it, such as being in the present moment or being centered and grounded, among many other words. The art of meditation is usually taught as a solitary process and accomplished through focused breathing techniques. Mindfulness has evolved from being viewed as a strictly personal or spiritual practice, and now it is used by many organizations as an employee development strategy, as a means of reducing job dissatisfaction, increasing employee well-being, improving retention, and prompting creativity. Organizations have utilized this concept in leadership development classes as a means of helping leaders improve their decision-making process. What is mindfulness? Definition. Mindfulness is a very simple form of meditation that was little known in the West until recently. A typical meditation consists of focusing your full attention on your breath as it flows in and out of your body. Focusing on each breath in this way allows you to observe your thoughts as they arise in your mind and, little by little, to let go of struggling with them. You come to realize that thoughts come and go of their own accord, that you are not your thoughts. You can watch as they appear in your mind, seemingly from thin air, and watch again as they disappear, like a soap bubble bursting. You come to the profound understanding that thoughts and feelings, including negative ones, are transient. They come and they go, and ultimately, you have a choice about whether to act on them or not. Mindfulness is about observation without criticism, being compassionate with yourself. When unhappiness or stress hover overhead, rather than taking it all personally, you learn to treat them as if they were black clouds in the sky and to observe them with friendly curiosity as they drift past. In essence, mindfulness allows you to catch negative thought patterns before they tip you into a downward spiral. It begins the process of putting you back in control of your life. Over time, mindfulness brings about long-term changes in mood and levels of happiness and well-being. Scientific studies have shown that mindfulness not only prevents depression, but that it also positively affects the brain patterns underlying day-to-day anxiety, stress, depression, and irritability, so that when they arise, they dissolve away again more easily. Other studies have shown that regular meditators see their doctors less often and spend fewer days in the hospital. Memory improves, creativity increases, and reaction time becomes faster. Myths about mindfulness and what you need to know. 1. Mindfulness is a fringe or cultish practice. Being in our lives and actually doing what we're doing isn't a weird concept. No doubt this pathway to authentic connection with our experience is older even than the Eastern religion that it's most closely associated with. While mindfulness practices are often tied to New Age spirituality, the experience itself doesn't belong to any particular religious or spiritual approach. We don't even have to label it mindfulness. Everyone has had experiences of being fully present, and the vast majority didn't involve incense, dim lights, or soft music. Mindfulness is available to everyone at any time and is as normal as breathing. 2. Mindfulness is a religious practice. Mindfulness is indeed a major part of some religious traditions. As a result, people of different faiths, or no religious faith, sometimes resist the idea of adopting this approach. However, mindfulness is often practiced apart from any religious tradition, including mystical spirituality. The practice itself does not assume or require any religious belief. At the same time, there is nothing about mindfulness that is inherently contradictory to any religious tradition. Whatever our beliefs and values, we can practice them more fully through a mindful approach. 3. Mindfulness means condoning things that are wrong. If I'm accepting of what's happening, doesn't that mean I'll put up with things I shouldn't? Many people raise this objection, thinking mindfulness means that if I'm overweight, I shouldn't try to lose weight, or that if my boss is abusive, I should just take it. Part of the problem comes from the different ways we use the word accept. Sometimes we mean, as we do in the practice of mindfulness, that I am willing to see a situation for what it is. I am not denying that reality is reality. Other times we mean we're not going to try to change something. I've accepted that I'm never going to dunk a basketball. The practice of mindfulness does not assume that in action will follow acceptance of things as they are. Sometimes acceptance is the catalyst for change. 4. Mindfulness is weak and wishy-washy. Related to the belief that mindfulness implies never taking a stand is an association of mindfulness with weakness and being wishy-washy. This image is easy to understand if we equate fighting and resisting with strength. If we begin by thinking that mindfulness is an easy or lightweight practice, we quickly find that it's anything but easy as we work to let go of our habits of mind and behavior. Letting go is hard. It takes a lot of energy to stop fearing the future and perseverating on the past. When we practice mindfulness, we direct our strength and resolve in ways that serve us. 5. Mindfulness equals meditation. When we hear the word mindfulness, the first image that comes to mind is probably someone sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed, and for good reason. Meditation is the most common formal mindfulness practice. But while meditation is tremendously beneficial, it is just one activity during which we can focus on the present. Hammering a nail, driving a golf ball, eating a plum, holding a child, walking in the rain, arguing with a spouse, all of these activities, among infinite others, are opportunities to be mindful. How and why mindfulness works. Mindfulness is an ancient practice, one that has been around for thousands of years. Although originally grounded in Buddhist philosophy, mindfulness has since become widespread and is now practiced by individuals in all walks of life. But what exactly makes mindfulness so incredibly potent? And how can a seemingly simple practice like mindfulness create such remarkable changes across all these areas of our lives? The answers lie in a few areas. Mindfulness changes our brain. Mindfulness has the power to literally change the structure of our brains. When we practice mindfulness, areas of our brain associated with positive emotion, concentration, and empathy become more activated, while regions associated with stress and fear become inhibited. Mindfulness takes us off autopilot. All of us are prone to fall into patterns of being on autopilot from time to time, whether during our morning commute or as we wash the dishes at night. In small doses, this isn't much of a problem, but in larger degrees, this habit comes at a cost to our mental and physical health. Mindfulness enables us to become more present in our day-to-day lives and helps us to go from a state of mindless autopilot to becoming more fully alive and awakened. Mindfulness changes our relationship to our thoughts. Our thoughts have a tremendous impact on our mood and mental state. Mindfulness helps in terms of managing negative thoughts in two major ways. First, it enables us to become more aware of negative thought patterns as they emerge, thereby stopping us from spiraling deeper down into depression or anxiety. Second, it enables us to treat our thoughts as mere thoughts rather than becoming paralyzed and overwhelmed by them. When we come to view a thought as simply a thought, we disarm it rather than buy into it. Over time, mindfulness helps us to become far less troubled and distressed by the thoughts running through our head. The thoughts will still be there, but we come to see them as just that, thoughts, nothing more and nothing less. Mindfulness helps put the brakes on rumination. When we engage in rumination, we obsess over things from the past which cannot be changed, or overthink things in the future would have yet to come. Rumination is a bit like a broken record, where our mind becomes stuck playing the same song over and over again. Although rumination is an unpleasant state, mindfulness holds the power to help break this pattern by bringing us back to the present moment. So rather than incessantly thinking about the presentation we have to deliver at work or the fight we had last night with our spouse, mindfulness allows us to find peace in the present moment. Mindfulness helps us accept reality. The ancient Chinese philosopher and poet Lao Tzu once wrote, "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow." Modern research confirms this notion and supports the idea that it is often to our resistance to pain rather than the pain itself that causes the bulk of our suffering. Like quicksand, the harder we struggle against reality, the more misery we find ourselves immersed in. Mindfulness offers us a different path and enables us to see and accept reality as it is rather than wish it away. Paradoxically, this sort of acceptance actually enables us to make healthy choices and change our lives. Challenges of being mindful. The greatest challenge to becoming mindful is learning how to reach a state of reflection, as it takes time and practice. It is not a state of mind that most people would think of achieving unless they were to read about it or learn about it from some other source, such as a class at work, a friend, etc. Try it out and realize how it can be of benefit to them. The word mindfulness itself may also seem to be out there for some people. Yet the challenge for many students is getting them to actually stop all activities for any period of time, especially for those students who closely monitor their social networking websites. Students often tell me they can multitask effectively, but their concentration is never fully focused, no matter how hard they try. There are many well-documented benefits for the use of a regular time of quiet reflection, and it includes stress and anxiety reduction, lowered blood pressure, and improved overall well-being. It can also help to improve emotional intelligence as a person becomes more aware of what they are feeling and the emotions they are experiencing. There is also an improved sense of self with this level of awareness and a general feeling of balance. For students, learning to concentrate and improve their focus helps them with other aspects that are critical for their success. For example, they often become more organized and manage their time more effectively. They are encouraged to take time to reflect on their habits of thought and patterns of productivity, especially if they want to improve their performance, and this new self-awareness does serve them well. Benefits of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to relate to and deal directly with whatever is happening in your life instead of struggling to escape, suppress, or avoid distressing thoughts and feelings. Mindfulness helps you approach whatever is going on in your life, in your thoughts, and with your emotions without becoming overwhelmed. When you start being more mindful and start living in the present moment, you'll experience your life more fully and become more in touch with yourself, who you are, what is important to you, and what you want out of life. Depression, anxiety, stress, self-esteem. If you're struggling with depression, anxiety, stress, or low self-esteem, mindfulness-based counseling and therapy can help you slow down your mind and deal with racing thoughts and negative thinking, regrets, worries, and fears. Mindfulness will help you calm your emotions and transform painful feelings, handle change and uncertainty, and long and short-term stress. Personal growth and exploration. Sometimes when people come for counseling or therapy, they're not sure what's wrong. They just know that things aren't right. If you're feeling stuck in your life or struggling with a lack of direction or meaning, mindfulness-based counseling and therapy can help you get in touch with your inner wisdom and intuition and open yourself up to insights about yourself and your life. Mindfulness encourages personal growth through greater self-knowledge and understanding, self-awareness and self-acceptance, which leads to a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Other benefits of mindfulness. Some of the other benefits associated with mindfulness include increased ability to relax and improved sleep, enhanced sense of well-being, greater energy and enthusiasm for life, improved concentration and problem-solving, greater satisfaction in personal relationships, becoming less judgmental and treating others with greater acceptance,
decreases in medical symptoms such as chronic pain and high blood pressure, and improved immune function and resilience. How to practice mindfulness, starting out. You are probably familiar with the 4 stages of learning in the model of conscious competence, namely unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence, or autopilot. Moving through the 4 stages of learning how to practice mindfulness takes time, effort, and application, and is no different to learning any other new skill. Getting the hang of the basics of any new skill takes approximately 3 weeks or so of continuous conscious effort, at which point the new skill becomes a habit. The best way to start the process of learning how to practice mindfulness is to undertake a sitting meditation every day for approximately 30 minutes or maybe 2 sessions of 15 minutes. Sit in silence and somewhere where you won't be interrupted. Turn your mobile phone off. Just sit comfortably in an upright position. Take several slow, deep breaths and focus on your breathing in and your breathing out. Then, just pay attention to your thoughts. Don't engage with them. Don't analyze them. Just observe them. If you feel yourself getting drawn into your thoughts, gently bring your attention back to your breath and focus on your in-breath and your out-breath for a few breaths and return to just watching your thoughts. Watching your thoughts is like watching clouds pass across the sky. They come into your line of vision, drift across the sky, and fade away. Breathe. Do this every day for 3 weeks. Notice and observe your reactions as you prepare to do your daily sitting meditation. Don't analyze this. Just be aware of your reactions. Observe your reactions after you have finished your meditation. And again, don't analyze or think about it. Simply observe or witness it. After a few sessions of sitting meditation, take it a one small step further and just watch your thoughts during the day. Make it a habit to observe your reactions, your thought patterns, your recurring thoughts, and differing emotional states at different times throughout the day. When you feel yourself getting sucked into a pattern of thoughts or emotional responses, bring your attention to your breathing and just focus on your in-breath and your out-breath for several breaths. Keep watching and observing. Be aware of your thoughts and feelings. Mindfulness, a supernatural therapy for keeping away all stress and anxiety. A successful life is all about one's attitude, thoughts, and outlook in the process of manifestation, because life behaves us like the way we want, we speak, and the way we firmly believe. The biggest culprit is a mind that disrupts our life from taking us out of the existential moment. The man behaves exactly what he had experienced from the past, and his mind is known to the situation, so it is vital to keep your mind, mindfulness, to achieve peace and success in life. Mindfulness. Different people have a different understanding of the term. Some say that this is an art of meditation, very much accepted in the Western countries, while some believe this is as a magic to change the life in an optimistic and affirmative manner. However, the main function is to bring positivity in life and reduces pain, destructive behavior, depression, anxiety, emotional reaction, as well as the mind stress. The Buddha put his statement that to speak or act with a poor mind is to draw happiness after oneself like an inseparable shadow. This proclamation is enough to understand the concept of the conscious mind that can awaken with the help of the mindfulness exercises. Mindfulness creations have adopted the concept of a conscious mind in their core and spirit, thus creates a mindful change network to help others in bringing positivity and creativity in one's lifestyle. To bring clarity in the society, several aspiring methods are implemented, like the Acceptance Commitment Therapy, Self-Enhancement Guide, Mindful Meditation App, Mindfulness Quotes, the Inspirational Articles, and many other effective tools.
This network helps people to understand and answer the world's most unknown question, i.e., what is mindfulness, how it influences one's life and recuperates from the tough feelings of depression, anxiety, or stress. Might be the answer varies from person to person and their overall experience with the mindfulness. However, all found to have the same feeling is about the peace, joy, and happiness. To encourage people for the mindful change and the self-growth is the main motive that lays behind these mindfulness practices. The best instance is the acceptance commitment theory, which is specially designed and implemented for the mindfulness for teens. It considers all the vital facts required for making the impression on their mental state. It helps them to grasp and implement relevant elements quickly and easily. The therapy is proven as the most beneficial treatment for teens in order to reduce the depression and stress. The process enhances the thought of awareness and ensures conscious mind, independent thinking, as well as the mind intuitions. The best thing is that it allows us to study the consciousness, and the therapy starts with studying own conscious or subconscious mind state. The subconscious mind has enormous value as it warms, inspires, and furnishes us with the memory of the brain. Mindfulness is an art of controlling the mind from the unruly, indisciplined to the calm witness. It helps to remain mindful under all diverse conditions. It also provides us protection from over-involvement and ensures the feeling of joy and peace in terms of physical as well as spiritual satisfaction. Tips for everyday mindfulness. Drink a glass of water slowly and observe the temperature of the water. See how the glass feels in your hand and the sensation of the water on your tongue. Try walking at a slower pace than your usual speed. Observe the sensations that arise from that. If you're in familiar landscape, you may notice something new, or a feeling of impatience may arise as you want to reach your destination more quickly. If you are waiting in a queue or a traffic jam, try observing your breathing. Maybe count 5 breaths in through the nose. Is the breath shallow or deep, fast or slow? As you are sitting right now, try to observe how your buttocks feel against the chair. Practicing mindfulness, the critical shortcut to success. Success is really important in life, irrespective of whether you have a business or a job. Though honing your skills, strategies, and practices will definitely provide success, the most important factor that truly affects or brings success is what is within you. Living in the present rather than in the past or the future has always ensured a better life, and this is one aspect that is true for your business or profession as well. Mindfulness is a habit or technique that allows you to actually live and breathe in the present, where you are able to observe all the factors related to the present, be it a smell, thought, sound, emotion, taste, or just about anything. What makes mindfulness truly spectacular is the fact that you can actually observe these factors around you without judgment or attachment, making it a critical element for your overall success. Practicing the habit of mindfulness is not easy because it is achievable only if you approach it systematically and regularly. However, it is obvious that practicing this simple technique is definitely advantageous for your overall growth, development, and success. Here are some of the important benefits of this technique, which also helps you realize why it is so important for your success. Reduces stress. Most of our problems are often exacerbated by stress, which is inbuilt. Reducing the amount of stress that we deal with on a daily basis and looking at the factors that aggravate this stress from a distance can actually help you understand how to overcome it, whilst also facilitating you to realize how to use it to your advantage. This is where the practice of mindfulness comes into play, as it can help reduce stress by allowing you to become calm and think about your day in a planned manner. Increases awareness of self and empathy for self. When working in our routine lives,
We are often not aware of the various traits and habits that we display, which may or may not work in our favor. Mindfulness helps you understand yourself better, which in turn lets you control behavior that is not really helping you. You may often be your worst critic, and through mindfulness, you can learn to empathize with yourself without falling prey to a victim syndrome. Mindfulness simply refuses to allow you to judge or blame yourself, given that these are extremely negative to your overall success. Helps listen and engage in a better way. In business or profession, it is important to truly listen to others, which is something that people often forget to do for various reasons. Mindfulness not only helps you listen better, but also transforms you into an individual who can actually engage better with the team or others in any group, making it a truly successful partnership. Increases clarity of thought and focus. Another important benefit of mindfulness is that it helps increase clarity of thought as well as focus, given that you are actually looking only at the present. Practicing mindfulness has several other benefits, all of which are crucial to your success. It is, however, up to you to give this practice a try and help it benefit you. At the same time, it is equally important to understand that maximum benefit comes with practice, and you can't expect any magic to happen overnight. How to become happier using mindfulness. The pace of life seems to be getting quicker all the time. There seems to be less time to do things, yet many of us are still trying to achieve more and to fit more into each day. For others, the speed of life is what is happening to other people. Our brains are working just as frantically, and for some, this becomes a problem. Many people continually repeat in their minds things that they are experiencing. Dwelling on the past like this is quite common. It only becomes a problem for those people not equipped to deal with the emotional pressures that the mind can sometimes generate or cause. Emotions can manifest themselves physically. That is, we can feel them physically. For example, happiness, anxiety, anger, frustration, etc. can all be felt in our bodies. It therefore becomes important to be aware of what we are feeling and why we are feeling this way. Self-awareness is an important characteristic, particularly when making critical decisions. If we do not feel in control of ourselves, how are we going to be able to control or influence the path of our own lives? However, too much self-awareness can be limiting. It can cause us to be overcautious when we need to take action, thus inhibiting our ability to progress or achieve, or in some cases, survive. How do we get the balance right? If we borrow from the teaching of Zen Buddhism, there is a concept called mindfulness. In essence, it involves being present in the moment without passing judgments on the experience. Yes, simple enough in words, but the practice of it takes some practice, so to speak. Mindfulness requires self-discipline. It works by observing what is happening in our mind and around us, and by focusing on the moment we are experiencing without passing any judgment and without applying any subjective thoughts and feelings. You can give it a try from now. Next time you meet with someone you know, try to see them anew. View them without your existing knowledge of them, and without your existing perceptions and opinions. You can try this on family, friends, colleagues, or adversaries. The origins of why our minds are judgmental can be found in the times when we needed to be able to make instant decisions when faced with danger. These were the original fight or flight decisions, where a delay could be fatal. In present times, we still form judgments as good, bad, or neutral, the good and bad creating the most attention. Mindfulness is about observing all things with equal attention, but without passing judgment. It's much like seeing the world again for the first time. One of the greatest benefits of mindfulness is in your own personal contentment and achievement. This comes from knowing whether you are thinking unhelpful, destructive, or unrealistic thoughts, and by learning to suspend judgment. Many of the negative thoughts we have when we are emotionally upset tend to be distorted. Let them go, knowing that they are symptoms of a particular state of mind and therefore unhelpful. Thoughts and emotions work hand in hand with one another. We need to be objective in our understanding of them. Then we will start to feel better about things. If we can be more aware of our thoughts when we feel depressed, then we will be able to recognize them as just that, thoughts, not facts. As we become more familiar with the negative aspects of our emotions, we will then be better equipped to deal with our negative thoughts. Mindfulness can be practiced daily in all situations, which in turn will aid the appreciation of so much more of life's pleasures.
Mindfulness exercises, the practice of being aware. There are wide ranges of ways of practicing mindfulness, but the key thing you need to take on board is to just do it and keep doing it. Your mind and your ego will resist, and you will want to become more informed about it and will want to read yet another book on mindfulness. The human mind loves to make this simple thing so complicated. Yet mindfulness is called a practice for a good reason. Your mind will get bored and want to be entertained, distracted, and engaged. That's what minds do, and that's why they are sometimes referred to as monkey minds. If you want to learn mindfulness exercises, just be mindful. Focus your attention. Focus your mind 100% on whatever it is that you are doing right now in this present moment. Mindfulness exercises can be divided into activity-based exercises and observational exercises. Both types of exercise can be undertaken in groups or on your own. Typical activity-based mindfulness practices include walking, physical exercises or Tai Chi, eating, undertaking routine household domestic chores, undertaking outdoor tasks, gardening, clearing land, raising crops. Typical observational mindfulness exercises include breathing, body awareness, and deep relaxation, sitting meditation, mindful silence, mindful listening, putting it into practice. There is a great benefit in undertaking some of these mindfulness exercises with other people who are doing the same practice. This might be just one other person or as part of a wider practice group. There is a stronger energy to the activity if it is undertaken with others, and this can be very encouraging and helpful in your own practice of mindfulness. However, the real work is done on your own, and this is largely falling into two categories. 1, formal practice. This is where you apply regular focused attention to 1 or 2 mindfulness exercises at a time until you have mastered them, and they have become habits. As with the acquisition of any new skill, this requires self-discipline, persistence, and consistency. Just be mindful. Focus your attention, focus your mind 100% on whatever it is that you are doing right now in this present moment. 2, integration practice. This is when you take your newly acquired mindfulness skills and apply them at different times of the day. This may be a situation-specific practice when, for example, you get into a frequently occurring situation, such as heavy traffic or an interaction with a partner or work colleague who irritates you. Applying mindfulness in relationship situations can be very instructive and very powerful, and over time, you can change negative and destructive aspects of some relationships. Practicing mindfulness and its benefits with simple techniques for busy schedules. The world can be a stressful place. Relationships, jobs, and juggling long lists of errands every day can leave people exhausted mentally and emotionally. Learning to handle stress through the use of mindfulness meditation is the key to staying calm in hectic times and dealing with what life throws at us. Practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation can be done anywhere, but finding a quiet place makes it easier when you first begin. Sit comfortably. Begin focusing on each part of your body, beginning with your feet. Tighten the muscle and hold it for a few seconds before moving on to your legs and upper body. Feel the tension lessening as you release. Work your way up to your hands and arms. When you have finished, focus on your breathing. One breathing technique that is helpful is to breathe in for 6 seconds. Hold the air in your lungs 6 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Hold the breath out of your lungs for 6 seconds and repeat. The goal of these beginning exercises is to quiet the mind by putting all of your focus on something else. Next, find a word or phrase that is calming to you, such as inner peace. Repeat the word in your mind or say it aloud if you wish. Your mind might wander, and that is all right. Gently bring your thoughts back to the phrase. Pay attention to how you feel when certain thoughts cross through. Are they uncomfortable? Do they help you in any way? If they are causing despair or anxiety, then consider why for a moment, and then let them go. The point of mindfulness is to begin to control your thoughts and feelings instead of letting them control you. These mindfulness techniques are simple, convenient, and effective. These can be used anywhere at any time to battle the daily stress we all encounter. Deep breathing. One of the best mindfulness techniques used in stress management is deep breathing. Something that can be done at work or home. It simply involves breathing from the stomach and making sure you inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Not only will the physical act of deep breathing help to slow down your heart rate and keep the stress hormones in check, but it will also help clear the mind by letting you focus on the breathing itself. By closing your eyes and concentrating on the sound and rhythm of the breathing, you can calm down very quickly. The sound of music. While music can soothe the savage beast, it can also be very therapeutic physically and emotionally. Whether it's classical music from Beethoven or the latest pop hit from the Billboard charts, music has been proven to be a great stress reliever. By focusing on the sounds and vibrations of each note and the feelings they generate within you, it's possible to clear out any negative thoughts you may be experiencing and replace them with positive ones. House cleaning. The great thing about this technique is that you accomplish two things at the same time. Not only do you clear your mind and focus only on what's happening at the moment, but you also get a clean house in the process. This is considered a great mindfulness technique because you can focus on so many different aspects. For example, when you are filling a box full of items to donate to charity, you can focus on clearing out the clutter in your own mind. If you're washing dishes, you can focus on how the warm, soapy water feels as you wash each dish, or let the vibrations from a vacuum cleaner soothe your mind. Mindfulness meditation and other practices. Mindfulness can be cultivated through mindfulness meditation, a systematic method of focusing your attention. You can learn to meditate on your own, following instructions in books or on tape. However, you may benefit from the support of an instructor or group to answer questions and help you stay motivated. Look for someone using meditation in a way compatible with your beliefs and goals. If you have a medical condition, you may prefer a medically oriented program that incorporates meditation. Ask your physician or hospital about local groups. Insurance companies increasingly cover the cost of meditation instruction. Getting started on your own. Some types of meditation primarily involve concentration, repeating a phrase, or focusing on the sensation of breathing, allowing the parade of thoughts that inevitably arise to come and go. Concentration meditation techniques, as well as other activities such as Tai Chi or yoga, can induce the well-known relaxation response, which is very valuable in reducing the body's response to stress. Mindfulness meditation builds upon concentration practices. Here's how it works. 1. Go with the flow. In mindfulness meditation, once you establish concentration, you observe the flow of inner thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judging them as good or bad. 2. Pay attention. You also notice external sensations, such as sounds, sights, and touch that make up your moment-to-moment experience. The challenge is not to latch on to a particular idea, emotion, or sensation, or to get caught in thinking about the past or the future. Instead, you watch what comes and goes in your mind and discover which mental habits produce a feeling of well-being or suffering. 3. Stay with it. At times, this process may not seem relaxing at all, but over time, it provides a key to greater happiness and self-awareness as you become comfortable with a wider and wider range of your experiences. Practice acceptance. Above all, mindfulness practice involves accepting whatever arises in your awareness at each moment. It involves being kind and forgiving toward yourself. Some tips to keep in mind. Gently redirect. If your mind wanders into planning, daydreaming, or criticism, notice where it has gone and gently redirect it to sensations in the present. Try and try again. If you miss your intended meditation session, simply start again. By practicing accepting your experience during meditation, it becomes easier to accept whatever comes your way during the rest of your day. Cultivate mindfulness informally. In addition to formal meditation, you can also cultivate mindfulness informally by focusing your attention on your moment-to-moment sensations during everyday activities. This is done by single tasking, doing one thing at a time and giving it your full attention. As you floss your teeth, pet the dog, or eat an apple, slow down the process and be fully present as it unfolds and involves all of your senses. Mindfulness exercises. If mindfulness meditation appeals to you, going to a class or listening to a meditation tape can be a good way to start. In the meantime, here are 2 mindfulness exercises you can try on your own. Basic mindfulness meditation. This exercise teaches basic mindfulness meditation. 1. Sit on a straight-backed chair or cross-legged on the floor. 2. Focus on an aspect of your breathing, such as the sensations of air flowing into your nostrils and out of your mouth, or your belly rising and falling as you inhale and exhale. 3. Once you've narrowed your concentration in this way, begin to widen your focus. Become aware of sounds, sensations, and your ideas. 4. Embrace and consider each thought or sensation without judging it, good or bad. If your mind starts to race, return your focus to your breathing. Then expand your awareness again, learning to stay in the present. A less formal approach to mindfulness can also help you to stay in the present and fully participate in your life. You can choose any task or moment to practice informal mindfulness, whether you're eating, showering, walking, touching a partner, or playing with a child or grandchild. Attending to these points will help. 1. Start by bringing your attention to the sensations in your body. 2. Breathe in through your nose, allowing the air downward into your lower belly. Let your abdomen expand fully. 3. Now breathe out through your mouth. 4. Notice the sensations of each inhalation and exhalation. 5. Proceed with the task at hand, slowly and with full deliberation. 6. Engage your senses fully. Notice each sight, touch, and sound so that you savor every sensation. 7. When you notice that your mind has wandered from the task at hand, gently bring your attention back to the sensations of the moment. Invest in yourself. The effects of mindfulness meditation tend to be dose-related. The more you do, the more effect it usually has. Most people find that it takes at least 20 minutes for the mind to begin to settle, so this is a reasonable way to start. Through developing mindfulness, we can start to enjoy a better quality of life. Being mindful can help us to deal with stressful situations in a calm and clearer way as we become less immersed in our thoughts. Interactions with others can become richer as we take a step back from our old habit patterns, stop reacting, and start observing. Mindfulness can lessen or even prevent depression and anxiety, as well as enabling people to become free of addiction. Often we can find ourselves wrapped up in thoughts, be they pleasant or unpleasant. Thoughts of past events can make us sad, angry, or regretful, and take us away from what is actually happening in the here and now, adversely affecting our moods. We can easily get caught up in the fantasies about other people or visions of our ideal or terrifying future. Being mindful can help us to distance ourselves from these thoughts and allow us to be fully available to life as it is in the present moment. Practicing mindfulness. Like any other skill, mindfulness takes practice to develop. It can be very frustrating at times as you become more aware of the mind's ability to run away with itself and pull you along with it, away from the here and now. But with some openness and dedication, the benefits will become apparent and your life can improve dramatically. This is not a quick fix or a way to change the world, but an opportunity to see things as they are by building awareness and beginning to experience your mind and body in a new way. As Socrates said, know thyself. Mindfulness exercise for beginners. Mindfulness of the breath. Our breath serves as a perfect instrument to accomplish this goal. Our breath is always with us, operating automatically. For 24 hours a day, for every day of our lives, our breath is there like a trusted companion. Wherever we are and whomever we are with, we can always turn to the breath as a means of grounding ourselves in the present moment. Because of this, our breath will be the focus of our first mindfulness meditation. Instructions. Begin by finding a comfortable, peaceful place to sit. Set aside around 10 minutes to start with, though you can extend this as you wish in the days to come. Sit down in a manner that's comfortable, either in a chair or on the ground. Keep your back straight, allowing your shoulders to relax. Close your eyes or choose a spot on the floor in front of you to focus your gaze. 1. Begin by taking 3 easy and gentle breaths in through your nose, followed by slow and steady exhales. With each breath, feel yourself slowing down and becoming more immersed in the moment. 2. If you notice your mind wandering or your thoughts drifting, simply notice this and return your attention and awareness to your breath. You may notice your mind wandering at many points during this meditation. It's simply what our mind does. Merely observe this tendency and without judgment, return your awareness to your breathing. 3. Bring full attention now to your breathing. As you inhale and exhale, observe where in your body you notice your breath the most. Perhaps it's in your chest, as you feel it rise and fall with each breath. Others notice their breath most strongly in their nostrils, as the air passes coolly on the way in and slightly warmer on the way out. Still others notice the breath most clearly in their stomach and abdomen, as it rises and falls with each passing breath. Wherever it is, take a moment to simply notice where the breath is most clearly felt in your body. 4. Notice how it feels to fully focus on your inhale. As you inhale, notice any particular feelings of tension or strain, and notice the sensation of your lungs and abdomen filling up as you inhale. 5. Now, gently shift your awareness to focus more on your exhale. With each exhale, notice what it's like to feel your breath passing out through your nostrils, and observe, without judgment, anything that you feel in your body. 6. For the next few minutes, continue to breathe gently and evenly. Feel the breath as it comes in through your nose, followed by a steady exhale. 7. Notice what's happening in your mind. If you notice your mind wandering or your thoughts drifting, don't judge yourself or react self-critically. Simply notice this and gently redirect your attention and awareness back to your breathing. 8. After 10 minutes, gently open your eyes and bring your awareness back to your surroundings. Allow yourself to bask in the comfort and tranquility of the present moment. For beginners in mindfulness, this exercise can either be eye-opening or frustrating. You may have noticed your mind becoming flooded with thoughts or judgments, and that's okay. It's our mind's natural tendency to drift and seek out stimulation, and maintaining focused awareness on the breath may feel unnatural initially, but through practice and patience, it becomes easier over time. With practice, you'll even grow to find immense comfort and safety in your breath, which you can turn to whenever you want. Mindfulness exercise, raisin meditation. One of the remarkable powers of mindfulness exercises is their ability to transform the mundane into something incredible. As earlier discussed, our tendency to operate on autopilot much of the time with little conscious awareness of what's happening in the moment. We drive to work, but have little memory afterwards of how we got from point A to point B. We read a page in a book, but then have to reread it because our mind was elsewhere the whole time. And we polish off our favorite meal, only to realize that we barely took time to savor the experience. And this exercise will harness the power of mindfulness to begin shutting off our autopilot and more fully connecting to the present moment. To do so, we'll start with an activity that all of us do every day, eating. But rather than eating an entire meal in a mindful manner, we're going to start with a much humbler goal, eating a single raisin. To begin with, set aside around 10 minutes of time when you can be undisturbed and alone. You'll need a few raisins for this activity, or if you prefer, any other dried fruit can substitute. In addition, it is recommended to take a few moments afterwards to write down any reactions you have to the exercise and what you learned from it. Instructions. To begin with, take 5 to 10 minutes in a quiet place. Ensure that you'll have no distractions. Be sure to turn off your phone, shut off the television, and put aside anything else that might take away your attention. For the next few minutes, you'll be doing something that you do every day, eating, but in a different way than usual. Your intention will be to eat a raisin in a mindful manner, fully immersed in the experience. 1. Begin by taking a raisin and placing it in the palm of your hand. Glance down at it, pretending for a moment that you've never seen anything like it before. Alternate between holding the raisin in your hand and placing it between your forefinger and thumb to more fully feel its texture. Notice the weight of the raisin as it rests in your hand. 2. Now, take a moment to really see the raisin, paying particular attention to its subtle details. With full attention and awareness, notice the texture of the raisin and the shadow it casts on your palm. Notice its ridges and the particular colors it contains. 3. Placing the raisin between your fingers, now observe all of its textures with even more awareness. How does it feel to brush your fingers over the raisin? Feel the ridges on its surface. 4. Now, bring the raisin up towards your nose. As you inhale, simply notice any smells or scents that you detect. Or, if you cannot detect a scent, simply notice that as well, without judgment. 5. Slowly take the raisin and place it gently in your mouth. Observe what happens with your mouth when you do. Perhaps you'll find yourself salivating or notice your tongue reaching out towards the raisin as you place it in your mouth. Before chewing, simply notice whatever sensations come up in your mouth now that you've placed the raisin on your tongue. 6. Take a single bite into the raisin and notice how doing so affects your mouth and tongue. Notice the different textures that you can now pick up on when you're ready. Continue to slowly chew the raisin. But before swallowing, again, simply notice all that's occurring right now in your mouth, mind, and body. 7. When you're ready, swallow the raisin and continue to observe any feelings, reactions, thoughts, and emotions that come up for you as you do. Without judgment, bring full awareness to whatever is happening inside of you and take a minute to merely sit with those reactions with your eyes closed. People have all sorts of reactions to the raisin meditation. For some, it's an eye-opening experience in that it demonstrates how a simple activity, eating a raisin, can be transformed into something far more meaningful. For others, it feels foreign to eat a raisin in this manner and can even feel uncomfortable. Whatever your reactions may be, take a moment to simply notice them and write down some quick thoughts about the exercise. Mindfulness exercise every day. Mindfulness instructions. Begin by reflecting on a handful of activities that you engage in each week, but which you often do in a mindless manner. Common examples include walking the dog, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, cleaning the sink, eating breakfast, loading or unloading the dishwasher, driving to work, or walking to the mailbox. For the next week, choose one of these activities to focus on each day. You don't have to change the way you do them, such as by slowing down, but rather you'll be changing your level of focus and awareness. Using the lessons learned from the raisin meditation, engage in one activity each day in a more mindful and present manner. Use all of your senses to fully engage in the activity. rather than rushing through it or drifting elsewhere in your thoughts. For example, while brushing your teeth, you might pay particular attention to the sensations of the toothbrush against your teeth and gums, the flavor of the toothpaste, and how your tongue reacts. You might notice any scents and observe how your mouth salivates while you brush. Mindfulness exercise, mindfulness of the senses. This next mindfulness exercise builds on the mindfulness of the breath earlier practice, but broadens the practice to increase awareness through our senses. Much like the breath, we can use our various senses, sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing, to more fully immerse ourselves in the present moment. Instructions. Begin by finding a comfortable, peaceful place to sit. Set aside around 10 minutes to start with, though you can extend this as you wish in the days to come. Sit down in a manner that's comfortable, either in a chair or on the ground. Keep your back straight, allowing your shoulders to relax. Close your eyes or choose a spot on the floor in front of you to focus your gaze. 1. Begin by taking 3 easy and gentle breaths in through your nose, followed by slow and steady exhales. With each breath, feel yourself slowing down and becoming more immersed in the moment. 2. If you notice your mind wandering or your thoughts drifting, simply notice this and return your attention and awareness to your breath. You may notice your mind wandering at many points during the meditation. It's simply what our mind does. Merely observe this tendency and, without judgment, return your awareness to your breathing. 3. Bring full attention now to your breathing. Notice the sensations of the breath entering and leaving your body. With each breath, observe yourself becoming more present in the moment. 4. Now, shift your attention to the sounds around you. Notice the sound of your breath, slowly in and slowly out. Notice the sounds around you, even the faintest of sounds, and notice the silence. Imagine your ears as satellites, able to pick up on any sounds around you. Simply notice these things without judgment and without any desire for things to be different than they are. 5. Bring your awareness now to any smells you detect. As you inhale, observe any scents, strong or faint, that your nose picks up on. Again, simply notice this without judgment. 6. Shift your focus now to feeling your body, sitting on the floor or on your chair. Notice the weight of your body being supported. Become aware of the fabric of your clothing against your skin and the temperature of the air against your skin. Notice your hands and where they're resting. 7. Now bring your awareness to any tastes you detect in your mouth, whether faint or strong. Simply observe any taste that you can pick up on, or if you cannot, simply notice that as well. 8. With your eyes closed, imagine what the room looks like around you. Paint a picture in your mind's eye of what surrounds you in this moment. Imagine what's on the walls and what's at your feet. Visualize the colors of the room and where you sit. 9. Now notice what's happening in your mind. Are your thoughts glancing back towards the past, forwards towards the future, or are they here in the present? If you notice your mind wandering or your thoughts drifting, don't judge yourself or react self-critically. Simply notice this and gently redirect your attention and awareness back to your breathing and to your senses. 10. After 10 minutes, gently open your eyes and bring your awareness back to your surroundings. Allow yourself to bask in the comfort and tranquility of the present moment. Mindfulness exercise, a mindful minute. There are some days when even finding 10 minutes to set aside for mindfulness is difficult, let alone a half hour. For those occasions, it's useful to take just a few moments to cultivate mindfulness and become fully present in the moment. This next mindfulness exercise invites you to do just that. Instructions. In our busy world, it's important to take the time to slow down and become one with the present moment. When you're feeling stressed, try taking a minute to slow down and cultivate mindful awareness, whether you are at the office or in your car, and whether you're standing up or sitting down. This exercise can be done virtually anywhere. All you need is a minute of silence. You can close your eyes if you'd like, though you don't have to. For the next minute, put aside whatever you're doing and focus on the following. 1. Feel your breath coming in and out of your nose. Feel your breath as it fills up your chest and lungs, and notice it as it releases on your exhale. 2. Use your senses to notice what's happening around you. Hear the sounds around you and feel the temperature of the air against your skin. 3. Observe whatever emotions and thoughts are within you right now. Just notice them without judgment and without any desire to change them. 4. Notice when your mind drifts, but bring it back each time to your breath. 5. When you are ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. Thanks again for buying my book. If you have a minute, please leave a review. I take reviews seriously and always look at them. This way, you are helping me provide you better content that you will love in the future. A review doesn't have to be long, just 1 or 2 sentences and a number of stars you find appropriate. Hopefully 5, of course. Also, if I think your review is useful, I will mark it as helpful. This will help you become more known on Amazon as a decent reviewer and will ensure that more authors will contact you with free ebooks in the future. This is how we can help each other. Written by Stephanie White. Narrated by Kip Ferguson. Copyright 2018 by Stephanie White. Production copyright 2018 by Stephanie White.